Yeah, hey, Philadelphia is no longer the city of brotherly love. It's the city of drama. Big Sales, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. You guys have been absolutely great the last couple of weeks. We appreciate you. And I got a lot of, how about this? I got a lot of feedback on Howard Eskin saying that Jalen Hurts should be benched. And just to clarify, I am not in that room. Not yet. I'm not in that room yet. I am not in that room to bench the starting quarterback who just 11 months ago won a Super Bowl. I am totally not in that room. Howard Eskin came on a couple days ago. That thing's got like 400,000 views. And he said on our program, the best quarterback in Philadelphia is Tanner McKee. That's the backup dude. Like Jordan used to say, Jalen, get some help. Thank you, brother. Richard, I appreciate the super. The drama's real. It is. Because you got players and coaches and everyone. I've never seen a 4-2 team act like they were 2-4. I mean, they're acting like they're 2-4. And the drama's real because nobody's giving you answers. Dude, Nick Sirianni speaking today, I swear to you, it was like walking into a library in Philadelphia and going, do you know where the tax code books are? So I can learn how to do tax code. Yeah, they're in aisle 4 next to the map section. The guy belongs in a library. That's not a head football coach. That guy's like a doorman at a strip club. He's not a head coach. You know what a head coach says? If one of my players has a problem, hey, you know what you tell the guy? Go fucking sit down and do your job. Or I'll find someone else that will. You're the defending Super Bowl champions. Act like a defending Super Bowl coach. You don't have to be, let me tell you this. Good coaches are honest with their players. Hey, you're not getting it done. The offensive coordinator and all of us have to be better. Sitting around and giving people feel goods. Hey, you okay? Fuck that. This is pro sports. You get paid every Tuesday, direct deposit. I don't need Newt Rockney speeches. I don't need a guy to tell me, hey, I need you to be motivated and go out. This is pro ball, dude. What do you think this is, high school football? That's Harry high school bullshit. When you make it to this level, I don't need Newt Rockney coming in and giving me a pep talk. You know what gives me a pep talk? My $3.5 million paycheck I get deposited every Tuesday. That's my pep talk. My old lady going like this, keep the checks coming. I don't need a guy telling me, hey, fuck that. Let's go win one for the Gipper. That stuff is so stupid. That's Dude, Hollywood is full of shit. And so are those speeches full of shit. You know, Herb Brooks can do that to a bunch of college kids. You can do that to college guys. They don't know any better. They're not getting paid. But when you start making and getting paid, dog, I don't need to have a guy tell me, hey, you better go out there and play. Hey, no shit, or I'm going to lose my gig. That's the reality of the NFL. Not coaches sitting in front of a microphone going, hey, we believe in the process. Hey, Nick, that process stuff is so full of shit. It's beyond, nobody believes you. Coaches that are genuine. Coaches that are honest with you. Those are the coaches that move the meter. Having a guy sitting on your shoulder like a parrot, Parrot Roseman, going into Nick Sirianni's ear. Howie Roseman's a fucking parrot. And what he's doing is he's chirping in the head coach's ear. Make sure you tell him about the process. Make sure you tell him about the process. Fuck the process. You know what the process is? Go out and do your job. Holy shit. This is not Temple football. College kids, you could talk that shit to, and they don't know any better. Funny when they get this. When I first met my girlfriend, wife now, she goes, "You did this shit for free?" When I was playing college ball, she's like, "You did this for free?" Now everybody's getting paid. I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, I wanted it." She goes, "You did this shit for free?" Not really, but, supposedly I did. So it's amazing. I've been part of the best program in Philly since 2021. Thank you so much, dude, and I appreciate you being here. By the way, guys have been great. You're turning the show into the most viewed show in Philly. And I can't thank you enough. Bro, the drama's real. You got a football game this week against Brian Flores. So let me go here and let me ask you, what do you think of your chances against Brian Flores? And do me a favor. I want you to talk about the reality of who you are right now, not what you think you are. So you think you're better than you are. So I want you to think about that before you answer that. Heading into this game against Brian Flores. Okay? Here's dope number one. Give me another one. That right there is dope number one. Okay? Hey, get this. That's the NFL. Welcome to the game. Leon, we're going to lose. Jalen's good with pressure. So if Flores puts pressure, Jalen will be fine. But if not, I don't know. Jalen's not fine with pressure. The guy takes more sacks than you know. You're going to be fine, right? All right, well, let's take a look at that. Going to be fine. I've never seen more people not know they have a disease right now and still try to tell people you're okay. Get this. Watch what a fucking idiot this guy is. So let's take a look at the trends. Vikings total defense, number 6. Eagles, 30th in total offense. Versus the pass, they're number 2 in the National Football League. The Eagles have the 3rd worst passing team in the league at 29. Scoring defense, they're number 5 in the NFL. The Eagles are 15th in offense, scoring TDs. Red zone, the Vikings are number 4 in red zone. The Eagles are number 1 in offense. Here's the best one. 3rd down, getting off the field. The Vikings are number 2 in the National Football League in defense. The Eagles are 28th. They're the 4th worst team in pro football in 3 and outs. So you think playing against the Vikings defense that's in the top 5 is a remedy for a shitty offense? Good luck. Where do you see that? Where in the world do you see that playing against one of the top 5 defenses in pro football? And by the way, here's something else here. M. Reyes says, trash schedule. You lost to the fucking Giants, guy. You lost to the Giants. The Giants you lost. Let's not forget that. That team won't win 6 games. You make it sound like you fucking got beat by a good team. What a bunch of shit that is. And by the way, they're winning football games with a backup quarterback. Hey, dogs, don't listen to it. Listen, M. Reyes will not be talked to the rest of the show because he's an idiot. Needs some heart in the next 4 games. If nothing changes, we'll go 1-3. Again, like I said, by the numbers, that football team is better than you. I'm getting 2023 vibes again. This somehow seems worse, though, because I think this mess was avoidable. I really like your segment with Gary Cobb. Thank you very much. Just so you know, too, Joey, Gary Cobb and I've been friends with Gary Cobb for about 40 years. And I think you'll really love this. When I was at Clairol, Little League Baseball, Babe Ruth, and he was at, I think, Caldor Baseball. Those were the teams that sponsored our Babe Ruth teams. Guess who came in and spoke when we were kids? Jackie Robinson. I swam in the pool that had the mitt up in Pound Ridge, where he lived, next to the Italian Center. And Gary Cobb and I were friends. Gary's, it's a little secret, a little transparent here, Joey. But, there's one of the greatest places to ever be raised was Stanford with all the sports. And Jackie Robinson lived in Stanford and was a major part of going to all the awards banquets. I learned how to play sports at Jackie Robinson Ballpark right next to my home down in Sylvan. Huge figure. Huge figure. Rachel, I'm still friends with Rachel. Can't believe she's still alive. What a wonderful family the Robinson family is. Tremendous. I went to school with 4 of the kids at Catholic High. 4 of Jackie Robinson's kids went to school with me. It was a great environment. And Gary Cobb, I got to tell you, remember the Boston College points shaving scandal? You got it. Ernie Cobb was on that team. That's Gary's brother. Yeah, so, I mean, crazy great. But thank you very much, Joey. Yeah, knowing Jackie Robinson as a kid, I didn't know that the significance of who he was until I got older. Pretty cool. Absolutely. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. All right. So we're going to get into some topics here. Will the Giants' loss be the biggest, or I should say the lowest point of the year in 2025? Will this be the lowest point for the Eagles in the 2025 season? Yes or no? Maybe. Okay? I hope so. Jalen Hurts is limited. He can't throw across the middle of the field. Never could. All his passes are towards the sideline. It's not wide receivers or coaches. It's the player. I'd say yes. Okay? No, it's going to get lower. Wow. Not likely. No, the lowest point is when we lose a playoff game. That's a great take. Sirianni will be gone. Will be gone of his players up. Oh, Sirianni will be gone of this if this keeps up, and it might. The players seem to like him. They show up motivated until last Thursday, okay? So you're saying that Sirianni will be gone if this keeps up, okay? I don't think he can see over his linemen. It's been a comment. Sills, we can easily lose this one. Oh, absolutely. You're not Dude, you're not better by a lot any longer because of what Roseman did to your roster. He took a blowtorch to him. He took a blowtorch to the roster. I think the loss fuels themselves. Okay. Hey, listen. Positive, negative, does it go down? Sirianni is a fucking buffoon. Addison, Jefferson, Hockenson, cooked. Adam Thielen's up there too again. 25th in sacks, 22nd in hurries, 28th in percentage of snaps with pressure, 30th in tackles for a loss, 24th in yards per carry allowed. Fanboys think we're okay. That's a great take. Kimbo, Sil's my brother. I started our own podcast in New York City. Congratulations to you, Kim. You should do well. You're a very good sports talker. The problem that you have with men's sports talk, they treat you like you're a chick instead of a sports talk person. You're very good at what your takes are, and you're great. To me, you're one of our better ones. I don't give a shit if you wear a skirt or you don't. If you got good takes, we're good. You ever notice every time they call WIP or 97.5, chick gets on the phone, it's like a guy when he goes on a business trip and he sees a woman in the lounge. Oh my God, you see her and you're like, bro, really? You don't get out much, do you? You know that guy goes on a sales trip and all of a sudden he thinks like he's been set free from like a raccoon cage. You're like, bro, really? I go to my fucking room and lay in my room and watch TV and order room service. These guys are chasing tail. You're like, you don't get out much. Or you must not have married the prom queen. Something's happening to you. Hey, right? I got a beautiful wife. I'm good. I don't need that bullshit. Sills, why not run 12 personnel? You're talking about a high octane offense. He can't run that. Hey, I got great respect for sales guys. Don't you kid yourself. Great respect. Knocking on doors. How you doing? Okay? Thank you very much, Kimbo. I can't believe Paulie Walnuts is your fucking grandfather or your dad. I can't remember what you said. From The Sopranos. That's really cool. Sills, no offense. I want the Eagles to win, but I also want to keep the buffoon. Best thing is not making the playoffs this year. Yeah, I don't know. Bro, I don't like rooting for losers. Okay? I don't. Eagles are look, if you're taking what I'm saying right now that you're thinking that I think you're a shitty organization, that is so far from the truth. You've got the owner, you've got the GM, you've got a quarterback that you're working with, and you got a coach who's working with all that. Your coach is not that strong. Your quarterback's limited. Your GM's great, and your owner's willing to spend money. If you don't have that four dynamic, you're not going to win in this league. Here, look, Kansas City, quarterback, Mahomes, Andy Reid, Brett Veach, Clark Hunt, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the four dynamics. Look at the shitty dynamic that you got in New York City with the Jets. The shitty Jets. No quarterback. Justin Fields is terrible. Aaron Glenn is terrible. I don't even know who the fucking GM is. And Woody Johnson needs to stick to Band-Aids and baby oil because he's not an NFL owner. He may be the CEO and owner of Johnson & Johnson, but Hoss, you need to stick to condoms and baby oil because you don't know shit about football. I have no idea. We all have to come to the realization that there's two avenues to win. One, fix the run game or get a quarterback. Dead on. That is as simple as it can get right there. Hey, man, either the run game gets fixed and turned around or you get a new quarterback. Nobody wants to sit here and address that. Hey, how many times do you think you're going to get a Saquon Barkley in the backfield? I say this. If this doesn't get resolved in the next 2 years, I'm getting out of that. I'm getting out of this Hurts deal. I think that's a great topic. How long are you going with Hurts like this? $2025 will tell us a lot, right? Do you think Howie could be blackballed by other GMs across the league? I'm just trying to figure out why he hasn't made a splash move by now. Because he really believes that his talent that he has on the team is good enough. Don't you understand? If he starts making moves for edge rushers, okay, ask yourself this, guys. Why doesn't a general manager want to make moves and significant moves for his football team on October 15th? Ask yourself why he wouldn't. She'll just say you don't like Hurts. I don't like Hurts' inability to be able to throw the ball. Sure, no problem. Get this. Hurts 2 Super Bowls. Get the fuck out of here, he says, right? Okay. You got there because guess why? One, he did get there. So did Garoppolo. So did Colin Kaepernick. I don't know. So did Brock Purdy. You don't have to be exceptional to get to Super Bowls. Nobody would say Colin Kaepernick, Brock Purdy, and Jimmy Garoppolo are exceptional. Would you? Remember I asked that question? Do you have to have an elite quarterback to get to a Super Bowl? All of you went no. And then you realized that's your quarterback. We could turn the season, but Howie has to drop his nuts at a trade deadline, and Nick needs to get the fuck out of the way and out of his own way. Why do you think the general manager hasn't made a move yet? Why do you mean? How many games we win if McKee plays for 10 games? With that offense, 8. Sills is the same dude saying Super Bowl means nothing but stats do. Correct. If that was the case, no quarterback would be making $50 million or more. How many quarterbacks in the top 15 have not been to Super Bowls? 90% of them? Exactly, douchebag. Are you under the impression you get paid for Super Bowls? You don't. You get paid for your accomplishments. Degree? Okay, let's take a look at that. He respectfully disagrees. All right. Let's just type this in then and see if he respectfully disagrees. Highest paid. What do you want to do? Edge rushers? Or do you want to do quarterbacks? Let's do quarterbacks first. QBs in the NFL. Let's take a look at that. And let's go to over the cap and do that. So we go down the list here. And we'll take a look at this. And we'll go here, contracts. And let me get this up. Here we go. Prescott, Super Bowl, no. Love, Super Bowl, no. Lawrence, Super Bowl, no. Burrow, yes. Allen, no. Tua, no. Golf, yes. Purdy, yes. Herbert, no. Jackson, no. I mean, dude, what are you talking about? The highest paid players at the Prescott, number one, never. Love, never. Lawrence, never. Allen, never. Tua, never. Purdy, never. Justin Herbert, never. Lamar, never. Not one of those quarterbacks have been to a Super Bowl. And are the highest paid players in the league at that position at quarterback. Who in their fucking right mind thinks you get paid going to Super Bowls? Let's do another one here. Let's go edge rushers. Let's do edge. Edge rushers. Parsons, no. TJ, no. Miles, no. Danielle Hunter, no. Max Crosby, no. Trey Hendrickson, no. Josh Allen, no. Burns, no. Sweat, no. Come on, guys. Where in your right mind do you think Super Bowls get you paid? Where in the fucking right mind? Dude, you're wrong. I mean, Super Bowls don't get you paid. I mean, you're under this game that if you go there, you're one of the best players in the game. You're not. How stupid are you to think if you win a Super Bowl, you get paid on that? Ugh. Dude, whatever you're saying's wrong. Because the facts don't dictate that. Seals, the price for guys is higher than Howie wants to pay. No. Why does Howie Roseman not want to make a trade right now? Tell me why. Why doesn't Howie Roseman want to make a significant trade right now? Why? You're getting closer, my friend. KCA Eagles. You're getting closer. Who's the biggest shit talker you've ever played against? Maybe Mike Munchak. He would have to admit, Howie Roseman, he misevaluated on Milton, Josh, Isaiah Rodgers, some in the draft with Makuba, and all those bullshit signings. And he'd have to admit that Nolan Smith can't stay healthy and Jalix Hunt is 2 or 3 years away from being a productive player. All things he thought prior to 25 were going to be certainties. All of those things he has to go to his owner and say this. You know, all those free agents we spent money on? Hey, Kyle, I'd like for you to do me a favor. Add up all the money in free agents that he brought in, and then he has to go to his owner and say, this all failed. Because it would prove that he was wrong. Absolutely correct. It would prove that he was wrong. If he goes out and trade, by the way, the Trey Hendrickson thing is fucking dumb. Stop with Trey Hendrickson. He's a stiff. He's overrated. Remember, Nolan has a ring. Myles Garrett doesn't. Let me show you something about Myles Garrett, and to my point. When you got a football player that's worth a shit. Let me show you something here. Let me show you impact, my friends. And this goes down the line of what we talk about with guys making impact on a football team, okay? And I'll show you why your boy, Trey Hendrickson. Do you know how many people in Philadelphia have been texting me and DMing me and telling me about this stiff Trey Hendrickson? I'm going to show you why Trey Hendrickson's a fucking stiff. Total defense. The Browns, number 3. First and foremost, how many people think the Browns blow as an organization? What do you think? How many people look at the Browns and think the Browns blow? Do they not? They're not very good. They got no quarterback. They got very limited talent on offense. Right? They just suck out loud. The Browns are terrible. That's right. Ryan Kerrigan II. Well, here is the impact of Myles Garrett. On a shitty Browns team, the defense is third in the National Football League in total defense. Pass defense, the Browns are seventh. Pass rush, maybe? Anyone? Rush defense, the Browns are third. You got one of the best defensive football teams in the National Football League on a shitty organization. I mean, look at what they do. Here, let me see what they're doing on third down. I mean, you got the third best defense in pro football on a shitty team. That's Myles Garrett's impact. Let's take a look at Trey Hendrickson. People everybody wants to trade for. Last year they didn't have him, right? He was hurt. Well, let's see if he got any impact. Bengals, 31st worst defense in pro football. Pass defense, 31st worst. Are you even getting to the quarterback? Versus the run, they're 28th. You want to pay a 31-year-old guy $31 million to bring him in? That guy's a stiff. He's a stiff. Trey Hendrickson makes no impact on a football team. I mean, actually, I saw somebody in here say Myles Garrett took the money instead of going after the ring. Or maybe you have to look at it that Myles Garrett wanted to finish what he started. You ever think of that too? You gave kudos to Jalen Hurts for staying at Alabama and graduating after they benched his ass. You're not going to give Myles Garrett any kind of kudos for wanting to stay in a place, albeit taking the money and not going somewhere else? Big Sill's another report. I saw that. We'll talk about that in a minute. I promise, my friend. I saw that. Sills, the Eagles come back out with the energy they had against the Giants. I'd be ready to fire everyone. If they can't get fueled by anger after the embarrassment, that's a dead team. Okay, Curtis? Hey, Curtis, you have every right to give them the benefit of the doubt, dude. Got a lot of good football players on that team. I am not here telling you you don't. I'm telling you didn't replace the guys. Every single one of you almost argue with me every day that you thought you had. All of you. M. Reyes down. All of you gave Howie the benefit. People on my network, people in Philadelphia media, on the radio, TV, you gave that dude the benefit of the doubt. And you should have. Me, on the other hand, I know what continuity is. You could take one or two players off of a team, no matter if it's a rugby team or an NFL team. You take one or two players off, that team has changed forever. Okay? Changed forever. You see this here? This is as much a fraudulent record as the 2-2 record was a year ago. 2-2 is fraudulent. So is this. I'll be right. Like I was in 23 when he was posting those numbers at 10-1. I'll be right. The implosion came. Sills, it's a week-to-week basis. Yes, it is. It's a week-to-week league. Okay, we are struggling. Not going to lie about it. Okay? Now get to work and fucking grind. I agree with you. And the premise of it, absolutely right. Yes. I wanted Milton. I never got that whole thing, but get this. Do you know what the number one thing you just got through telling me? All of you guys in the offseason said how he was saving money for 26 and 27. Or what was the line you guys used? You can't pay everyone. Okay? What moved you off of Milton Williams? What made you think Milton Williams was replaceable? Can someone help me? What made you think Milton Williams was replaceable? Where'd you come up with that? Who said that? That he was replaceable? Remember Xander and everyone kept going like this? Sills, you think that guy's a superstar. I do. I do think he is. I do. What did you come off thinking he was replaceable? Because you had the same type of setup with Moro Jomo? And again, see this one here? Remember what I said. Everybody's replaceable. But the volume of replacing people was the problem that I had. The problem of replacing Sweat, Milton, Oren, Isaiah, and Gardner Johnson was an impossible task. Impossible task. Have you listened to old Hurts under Steichen versus Pressers now? Super interesting. Character does a 360 once Steichen leaves. When I heard Jalen Hurts talking in 2022, I heard a confident machine. I hear him now. He sounds like a confused dude not knowing where the answers are going to come from. We beat the Vikings back to Mount Rushmore. You can't beat the fucking Giants. Tills, I wanted to pay him. Hey, I'm not saying all of you. I'm not saying all of you, dude. Sills, we wouldn't have a problem getting rid of players if the quarterback was able to sustain consistency with his $200 million offense. Yeah. He's not capable, though. Dude, I was telling you that going through your Super Bowl run. Oh, here's the new one for me with you guys. And look, guys, I don't want to do the I told you so. The good news is there's no dominant team in the NFL. Absolutely true, and you're right. That line that all of you were using a year ago on me, telling me we could pass when we wanted to, is a fucking lie. He has regressed so much, it looks like Carson Wentz. Not to that extent yet. I'll tell you what. Xander said something to me in the pre-conversations that we had. Oh, you can bet this. If this thing doesn't improve in 2 weeks, Howard Eskin's going to look like a genius. If this thing doesn't pick up in 2 weeks, Howard Eskin, going from kind of a funny, sarcastic conversation to a real one. It's going to get to a real one. Now, if they come out and they beat the Vikings and they beat the Giants, it's going to calm the waters. Hey, by the way, I'm not in the room right now because you're not that good. So winning those games, you're not going to hear me say this. It was only the Giants and it was only the Vikings. You're not going to hear me say that because if you can lose to the Giants, you can lose to anyone. Get the win. Get the win, get healthier. Let's see what it looks like in November. That's where I'm at with the Eagles. I swear to God, You will not hear me say this. If you beat the Vikings on Monday, well, it's a shitty Viking. No. Okay? No. You're not going to hear me say that. Sills, is it Jalen can't read defenses, or is it he won't pull the trigger in fear of a turnover? I've seen him do, and I don't know, honestly. I think it's a little of both, my friend. And plus, I think it's also that he doesn't trust the offensive game plan, and he doesn't trust the play caller, and I'm not sure the receivers trust him now. I think the receivers and the quarterback have problems with trust. Trust in the game plan, trust in the quarterback skill set. Without a running game, Jalen Hurts is exposed. He couldn't win games at Alabama from the pocket. If that guy has no fucking run game, he's limited. He's a wildcat quarterback if he can't have a run game around him. His passing ability. We said this in 2021 about this kid. If he does not have an effective run game, it doesn't have to be a Barkley run game. It could be a Miles Sanders run game. If he doesn't have that component and his ability to run in space, he can't win from the pocket. That's not fucking who he is. The Vikings defense is no joke. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. Sills, you played for years. Why does it surprise you that a road favorite lost a division game? That shit happens all the time. You know that. I do. Okay? Dude, I know that. But you lost to a football team that'll win 5 games, 6 games this year. And for 24 quarters of football, you haven't really played that great. Now, dude, your offense is one of the worst offense. Okay, Carmine. Do you think, Carmine, if you moved into a house and you paid $2 million for it, and you walked in and the ceiling was leaking, and you were not getting your value of living there, and your mortgage is $10,000, $15,000 a month, and you're not getting the return on your investment, would you think you bought a lemon? You're spending $200 million and you're the 4th worst offense in pro football. I don't know. Did you not have higher expectations? I had people telling me Jalen Hurts was going to be in the conversation for the most valuable player award. With what? 2,500 passing yards? You said it in 22. He's the best Wildcat quarterback. He is, because he can throw. Wildcat quarterbacks can't throw. See, this is a Band-Aid. 75% of the quarterbacks in the league need a good runner in order to win. Okay? You don't have one. But 75% of the quarterbacks don't have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley. You see, this is where this gets jaded here. He says 75% of the quarterbacks in the league need a good running game in order to win. Dak Prescott has fucking nothing Jalen Hurts has. He has nothing. 0. Allen has 0 compared to Hurts. 0. Right. And his record shows it. Hey, just like, get this. Dak Prescott's the Myles Garrett of the NFL offensively. Myles Garrett can't throw the ball in Cleveland. And Dak can't play fucking defense in Dallas. That's not Dak's fault. That's the organization's fault. Just like this year, that's Howie's fault for not replacing the players in mortgaging 2025. Why is this conversation so hard for you? Because You think? And because you have reality now, this is post-Super Bowl shit. This is why it's impossible to repeat. Howie is a great GM. Okay? About what? About what? What am I talking shit on? Name me one thing I haven't said that's not true. KC did it. KC's got Mahomes. That is, CeeDee Lamb hasn't played in 4 weeks. CeeDee Lamb hasn't played in fucking 4 weeks. What an absolute... Dude, if you're going to come in and make a comment like that, make sure you come in with some brain cells. Hurts looks like he's playing not to make a mistake in the pass game. Yeah, because that's the way, that's the way, Matthew, they're coaching him. I think it's more of a Nick thing. Well, wait a minute. Okay, so let's take this into context here. So Matthew. Okay? Matthew. Why? Dak is the highest paid player in the league. Miles is the highest paid defensive player in the league. Are you under the impression Jalen Hurts can throw the ball better than Dak? You're out of your fucking mind. So Matthew, let's take this here. For instance. Okay. Hurts looks like he's not playing not to make a mistake in the pass game. I think it's more of Nick, okay? Let the man regain his confidence. So, Matthew, are you saying that the coaches, Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo, are not coaching Jalen Hurts correctly? Is that right? So they're not coaching the reigning Super Bowl MVP right. Is that what you're saying? If Nick's such a great Hall of Fame coach, like M. Reyes says, why is he coaching him wrong? Doesn't he know who he is? Doesn't he know Jalen's skill set? He's been with him 5 years. How could a coach like Nick Sirianni not know what his skill set is and hire Kevin Patullo? Help me make sense of that. So if I'm going by Matthew here, and I think some of you agree with this, so you're telling me the head football coach is coaching him wrong with a poor coordinator, and this is his decision? Well, then Nick Sirianni's not qualified to be the head football coach of the football team if Matthew believes this. Am I wrong? This ain't my take. That's Matthew's take. I happen to agree with you, Matthew, that the Eagles are not coaching him correctly. Absolutely, he has the best weapons of football. As a collective group, no doubt. There's not a better group of players from an offensive skill set than the Eagles right now, and they're the worst in the league. Okay, so why isn't Nick coaching him right? Agreed. Do you remember the last couple days? Okay, that's coaching. Well, who hires the coaches? Isn't that Howie and Nick and the owner? So wait a minute. We got something going on here. By the way, Howie is the one too. Howie was the one that informed Vic Fangio that Za'Darius Smith retired, not the head coach. This guy's in meetings all day. What is a general manager doing in game preparation meetings? What the fuck would he know of? Dude, some of you in here know more than he does about preparing for a game on Sundays. I wouldn't take 1 second of advice on how to play defense from Howie Roseman in any form or fashion. He doesn't know shit about in-game adjustments when it comes to playing defense. Nothing. Why is he even in the room? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. Okay. So wait a minute. Where did I see that? So Philly. Seth Joyner said that KP is running Nick's system. Well, then they're coaching the quarterback wrong. Whose decision was that? Who made this off-season decision to do this? The coach? Your guys are either exposing the court. Look, this is what we know right now, in my opinion. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong. The quarterback's limited, but can win in a certain style of play. Exceptionally, too. In a certain style of play, he can win exceptionally, right? I agree with that. But Nick's way of moving the ball is through the air, correct? When that run game's not there, Nick's getting exposed as a passing coordinator. He don't have Phillip Rivers here. Phillip Rivers covered all the bullshit that Nick did because that guy is one of the best processors of information there is. He's a Hall of Fame player. Nick doesn't have that in Philly. He's got a limited passing player. He's limited. But what does Nick keep doing? Nick keeps going, and every time he gets a chance, what does he do? He hires a passing guy. And that's not Hurts' skill set. I mean, I don't know what you're watching. That's what I'm seeing. This is less really about Hurts. Xander was frustrated yesterday because you know why? I kept telling him, well, wait, with all this talent we have, you're telling me fucking we're not going to get to this? No, you're never going to get there. However, you're going to win games if you do it right. The brilliance on Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is, look what he's, let me see something here. Let me go to the numbers here. And has Spencer Rattler been the starting quarterback in, has he been the starting quarterback in New Orleans the entire time? Let me go on attempts. Okay. Let's go down here. Where's Hurts? Do you know who the 8th ranked quarterback is in passing attempts in the NFL? It's Spencer Rattler. He's 8th. Who the fuck is Spencer Rattler? Kellen Moore's not a run coordinating offensive coordinator. Spencer Rattler is a passer, and so is Kellen Moore. Hey, you want to hear something about Spencer Rattler? Spencer Rattler right now is on pace for 3,500 yards, 68% completion percentage, 575 attempts, 17 touchdowns, and 3 picks with a 92 quarterback rating. Spencer Rattler. He can't fix a shitty roster overnight, dude. The Saints have been in fucking cap hell. One thing he is doing right, get this, see this? That's not on Kellen Moore. That's on Mickey Loomis. having a shitty roster for the last decade. That's not on Kellen Moore. He was brought in to fix the quarterback position, and he has. Get this. So you think a guy who was hired in fucking February is going to turn a franchise around in one fucking day? You can't be any dumber than people like this. You're fucking retarded. I mean, honestly. Dude, let me show you something else. Look at Dave Canales. Someone help me out here. I think the Carolina Panthers are 3-3. It's taken him a little time to get Bryce Young going. I don't know about you, but let me see Bryce Young here. Let's take a look at Bryce Young. Bryce Young right now is on pace for this. He's on pace for 3,400 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and 10 picks. I don't know. That sounds like any best year Jalen Hurts has ever had. It's taken him a year to fix this thing in Carolina. And you want to go in and think Kellen Moore's going to overnight put a magic wand there and he's going to turn the fortunes of the fucking Saints around, who have been shitty for the last 6 years. You can't be any dumber. Can't be any dumber. She goes, we can't blame the system. Hurts doesn't run one. That's why it's different every year, because the coordinators are hired not for the quarterback. They're hired for the coach. The coach is incompetent. He's incompetent. My number one objective would be this. I want a guy who can, Jalen Hurts, put the ball in his hands again. Let him work his magic. He's going to win a shitload of games. Okay? This is such a lie. Nick Sirianni did none of this. He's got no say in any part of the team. He doesn't pick the players. He doesn't sign free agents. He doesn't have anything to do with the draft. Where are you getting that from? Hurts is a winner and well accomplished. Then why are they coaching him wrong? Why do they hire people that are not qualified to be around him then? Ask yourself this, Marcus. Why did they hire a guy who's never play called before? The defending Super Bowl champions. You hire the most inexperienced person you could possibly hire. Why would they do that? I wouldn't know about you, but when I'm a Fortune 500 company, don't you want to hire the best available candidates to run your business? I mean, don't you? Or no? Marcus, tell me, why would you hire somebody that's the least experienced for your team? I mean, why? Any reasoning? I'm waiting for you, Marcus. That's on Nick and Howie. So Nick and Howie self-sabotage their own team? You might be onto something, Sills. If they're fixing Bryce Young in Carolina, why can't Frank fix him? Okay? Well, there's a great reasoning for that. They've added more talent. They've got under the cap. The Brian Burns deal brought them 2 draft picks, right? They've landed on some players that have improved the team. Dan Morgan wasn't the GM then. They're bringing better talent in around him. And when Frank got there, Carolina was in shambles. Remember what they gave Christian McCaffrey away for? A bag of Skittles. They didn't get anything for him. My problem with the Eagles is, if Hurts is the guy, why are you hiring coordinator? Correct. How come nobody? Why are you hiring people that are not qualified to coach the guy? Why? I mean, so part of the problem is that the coaches aren't properly developing Hurts, which made him regress. And since Nick hires passing coaches, it's going to get worse. Correct. Yes. So you're going to hire a guy who is going to try to accentuate his worst asset instead of putting the player in a position to succeed with his best assets. It's counterproductive. It's what you did with Wentz. No wonder Wentz got destroyed. That's on Nick and Howie for the bad coaching hiring. Okay? Great. But you also have to put in context the QB's limited. So now you know why Jalen dislikes Nick. They had a problem last year in the beginning. Yeah. He doesn't believe that Nick knows what he's doing when it comes to being his style of play. I completely agree with that. It's like having to learn a new language while maintaining what you previously learned. Yes. Dude, this guy's never. How about this one? Jalen Hurts didn't know how to set protections until a year ago. What makes you think he's a quarterback that throws the ball? High school quarterbacks have that skill set taught to them when they're in high school. When they get into college, that accentuates more. Hurts never fucking did that. And he was going to be a top flight. How are you hiring people and having a passing game and hiring and signing all these receivers when the quarterback in his third year is learning how to set protections for the first time? Is wild. Thank you, Miguel. Chris Sims said this morning that the people inside the Eagles and him himself have heard that they're not allowed to change a lot in the offense because the quarterback won't support it or stand for it. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is going to make Jalen Hurts. Xander played a soundbite. He played a soundbite yesterday that offense is going to look like Jalen wants it to look like. Outside the numbers, not across the middle of the field, go routes, wheel routes, and that's all you wrote. And zone read running. And he's going to roll right. I mean, the difference between last year and this year is this, guys. Last year, you could do this. I'm going to run right there. Right there. And there ain't anything you can do about it. I'm going to run over there, and there ain't anything you can do about it. I'm going to run right down the throat, and there ain't anything you can do about it. This year, you don't have that ability. You don't have that aura about you knocking people fucking onto the ground. You don't have that invincibility. People are punching back now. And now that they're punching back, you got to retort back to what you did in 2024 at the beginning of the year. Throwing the ball with a limited passer. and a coordinator who doesn't know how to use the quarterback because both guys' skill sets don't mesh with one another. I don't know what else to say. I think it's very simple, and I don't think there's really much that we said here that you're not watching yourselves. Am I right? And by the way, something on Howie. The chances in Howie Roseman's career ever to do this, Becton, Baun, and Barkley, Isaiah, Orrin Burks, ever to find guys like that again to plug into your team that play Pro Bowl football, he'll never do that again. He will never do that again at that volume. He may find a guy, but he will never, ever in his time again, ever do 7-8 guys that played exceptional all-pro football. Never again will he do that. Finding Baun on a practice squad, all-pro, is a diamond in the rough. If I was Jeffrey Lurie, I'd ask Howie, why did I sign a guy to millions of dollars that can't throw the ball except to 3 spots on the field? I think, get this, I think after a while, you now start to come to the conclusion, there's no doubt Carson Wentz was a better passer. He just wasn't a better leader. The only thing that Jalen Hurts does better, there's 2. I don't think he's all that hot in the locker room. I think he knows how to run the ball, and I think he's a better leader. Wentz was a better talent, though. But he was soft upstairs. Foles was too streaky. He's the ultimate streaky player. But you got to remember something about Foles, too. Okay? Can you guys name me the teams that Nick Foles went to and played on outside of Philly? Name me the teams. Jacksonville? Well, I don't know. Indianapolis? I don't know. Bears? Yeah, I don't know. Where else? I mean, what kind? The Rams? That was Jeff Fisher. That wasn't Sean McVay. That was the Rams. Hey, Bob, that was Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher didn't know what to do with Jared Goff. Chiefs prior to Andy. Right? Okay? Only place he got real good coaching was in Philly. No? When is the call-in vent session? I like that idea. We may do that. I'll tell you what. You lose to the Vikings, we'll think about it next week. How's that? Sills, we got the best of both, a streaky passer who alienates half the locker room. Wait a minute. Josh, are you talking about Hurts or Wentz? Josh, who are you talking about here? I mean, who are you talking about? I just want to be clear because that sounds like both guys. Who are you talking about? Seals, did you hear Sirianni and Petula aren't speaking to each other much? I think Hurts is a better quarterback than Nick is a coach. Yeah, I do too. I don't think that's close. If you told me I had to win a football game and somebody had to put a game plan together, Nick or Jalen, give me Jalen all night. Kevin Petullo? No, thank you. As a matter of fact, if Kevin Petullo walked in, could you imagine Kevin Petullo walking in and being the defensive coordinator of last year's team? They would have looked at him and went, "What's this? Are you fucking crazy? What does he know?" Nick is trying to turn Hurts into Phillip Rivers. Why? That won't ever happen. Both Sills, he's streaky like Foles and bad leader like Wentz. Hence, he's both of them. Man. How many people have started to, how about this? Let's ask this question. I think Xander Krause, we're going to talk to in a couple minutes. I think Xander Krause is in this room. And I'm going to ask you if you're in this room with him. He's not in any room where he wants a quarterback replaced. But are you in the room right now where you're questioning his abilities? And by the way, I'm not saying anything dramatic, but you're starting to do this. I don't know, man. When this guy has to, like, when the team is not, get this, you're telling me the only time that the Eagles are going to be great is when the team is 1,000% healthy and that he can't perform like Baker Mayfield if the team has some massive injuries on it? Well, fuck, you're in trouble. You're counting on health? Even though Saban chose Tua over Hurts, get him on the show. Would love to hear what he has to say about Hurts. Wentz for sure is a better passer. 19, he had 4K, no receivers, with over 500 yards receiving. I don't know, Xander, did I miss a super in there? If I did, I'll throw it back up there. Not sure. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button, and thank you for the super chats. They've been great. Both Sills, he's streaky like Foles and bad leader like Wentz. Hence, he has both of them. Okay? Hurts had a bad game and needs to do better, but he's better than this, what everyone is calling him now. How about this? I'm not looking at fucking 6 games, dude. 17 regular season games. The passing game was horseshit a year ago. That excuse you used about having a run game is now exposing even the Super Bowl year. I'm going to put this in context for you even better here. The Super Bowl season that you won the Super Bowl, the running game hid the deficiencies of the quarterback. So much so, that's how dynamic it was. Once that went away, nothing's changed. It's the same shitty passing attack without that dynamic running game. Nothing's changed in a year and 6 games. That's a fact. You were 29th then. You're 29th now with only Becton gone. Same skilled people back. By the way, for the record, skilled guys aren't hurt. What happened? Quarterback's not hurt. Receivers aren't hurt. Running back's not hurt. Well, still, there's guys in the O-line not healthy. So the run game. Okay. He can't perform like Baker or Dak. Both have less. That's been known for since he's been an Eagle. Remember all the times you guys used to get on me when I said Hurts has a loaded team? He needs one. Correct. Can't account for shitty GMs. By the way, you see this guy, Big Drag here? Just like your GM, taking a blowtorch to your defense. GM makes a couple bad mistakes. Football team's not the same. I'm in a room where I want answers and demanding it. Good for you. Big Marsh has got a level that he's expecting, and he ain't deviating off it. Okay? He ain't deviating off it. What would you tell Hurts if you were a coach? Kevin Patullo, you're fired. I need to go out and find myself a guy right now that knows how to run RPOs because I'm not qualified. Howie, get someone's ass in here right now that knows how to run an RPO. Get Doug Peterson's ass in here. He's the one that constructed the RPO game for Foles. Get his ass in here right now. That's what I would do. I tell Hurts, we're going to get you help, son. Because the guys you're having right now and the formula that I'm giving you, you're not buying it. So I need to fix this right now for you because I'm here for you. Coaching, I'm here for you, not me. So what I would do is I would say this. Go get Doug, who knows RPOs. Hey, Doug, you want to be a consultant? I need your help. Kevin Patullo, you're fucking fired. Or, Kevin, you are now going to listen to Doug, and we're going to work together here to get a system. Jalen's in the room with me, too. And I'd be like, Jalen, we're going to put a game plan together, an RPO system together that you excel at. Well, Coach, I want to make sure that, well, Jalen, right now what you're doing fucking sucks. So you've got to believe in me here. Well, I don't, Coach. That's your problem. The quarterback doesn't buy the coach and doesn't believe the coach has answers. Dude, you're there as a coach. All the greatest coaches I've been around. You know what Buddy Ryan did for me? Let me show you what Buddy Ryan did for me and Jerome Brown. I told you the story that he would come down 2 times a year. And he would come down and he would watch game film. He'd get Jerome, myself, a guy named Danny Stubbs, and Bill Hawkins, all first-round picks. And he would get us all in the building, and we would be sitting in the room. I'm in there with Butch Davis, Dave Wannstedt. Ask Dave next time he's on. And Buddy Ryan's in there with us. This was Buddy's first year in 86 and then in 87. We're sitting in here and we're watching. Buddy Ryan goes like this, pretty quick off the ball. You might want to tighten up on the ball a little more, maybe shade to the right, make the guy think you're making the inside move, and then rip outside using the overhand rip. If you want, you can also use a power rush and bull rush him there and then come inside and do a twist you two. That would be something to think about. Slide your feet around, move around in the gap more. Make those guys think you're going to jump around blocks. And he'd be sitting there watching film. He goes, you guys are too quick inside there just to be stationary. Move around. Offensive linemen don't like people who move around. Move around. And Buddy's sitting there talking to us. Me and him are looking. We had never heard anything like it. The D-line coach I had, Butch Davis, coached 3 Super Bowl championships. And there's Buddy in there going, move around. You're a lot like McMichael. You move like McMichael. Get on an outside shade. Get that outside shade, rip up, do a rip, and then come back inside. And then do that T-twist inside there, you two. And you're sitting there going like this. So fucking good at coaching. And this guy's you go out there in the practice field and you practice it, and it works to a T. Coaches, man, you can't put a premium on it. I remember what Dave Wannstedt said. That correct. And this is true. Guys, way to go, Kyle. When Vic Fangio was first signed, as coordinator. We had Dave on. Dave goes like this and told all of you, Vic's system won't fail. The players in it will. That's what you got right now going on. Howie's Temu signings. Howie's Temu signings are hurting the defense. And that young defense and that limited talent is being eaten away by the 3 and outs. And you got incompetence in offensive play calling on offense, and you've got limited players on defense. And that's why the team is wobbling. The ship's wobbling. But you got so many good players in certain situations. I got to tell you something else. When you look at Nick and listen to him, do you buy into him? No. Hey, Xander, Abe said that we missed the Super. Let's check and see if we did. By the way, Xander's going to join us in a couple minutes. I want to tell you guys a story here. And you tell me what you think about Nick Sirianni's culture. I'm not going to go public and tell you the exact name who told me this last night. But Nick Sirianni and the management team, Howie Roseman, Drew Rosenhaus's folks, made that call on him not playing last Thursday. Not the coaches. What do you make of that? I got it on great authority. I'm not going to name a name because I like this certain man and I know him, and I'm not going to say his name. But somebody in Drew Rosenhaus's place made that call. The coaches and the medical staff didn't make that call. Jalen Carter didn't play because Rosenhaus's people didn't want him to play. How's that even possible? Well, you got a contract coming up. And here, Carter was hurt. Jeff, well, if Carter's hurt, what's he doing on the sideline? Shouldn't he be getting rehab? What are you doing on the sideline? What are you standing on the sideline for? If you, as far as I'm concerned, if you're standing on the sideline, you can play. Right? By the way, I mean, I love Jerome Brown. He was a beast, Big Sills. I went to his crash site in Brooksville in 92 to pay my respects. You're not the guy to put the jersey on the tombstone, were you, dude? Somebody sent me one that went viral. That put a, like, I think it was during the Super Bowl 17 run. That's cool, man. I mean, yeah, I was a pallbearer at his funeral. And Reggie White, myself, his Canes teammates, we're all pallbearers. My girlfriend, wife even went to Jerome's funeral. Craziest thing you ever seen in your life. You got Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, my wife crying, all three of them in the same thing. It's the craziest thing. Chris Carter standing on the wall bawling his eyes out. Reggie White was there. Seth was there. Buddy Ryan was there. I'd never been to a Baptist funeral in my life. All of a sudden, all the singing started going. I'm like, what's this? This is my wife. She's from the South. She goes, this is a Baptist wedding. Funeral. And she's like, yeah, no, this is normal. We buried him in a purple suit. Well, I guess they figured they wouldn't need him against the shitty Giants. Yeah, that's probably what they did. Absolutely. Yeah. I some of you are new in here, but my wife and I were up at my grandparents'. I got a call from the Associated Press. Hey, Dan, did you hear Jerome was killed? And we left immediately, and we went, and we came back home, and then we drove over to Brooksville, and we went to the funeral. M. Reyes, you're right. It was a celebration of life. How does an agent have override over management and coaching for playing time? Easy. Your agent calls up the general manager and says, listen, players complaining. You get second opinions on your knee all the time. You get second opinions on who you want looking at your players. Are you trying to say Drew Rosenhaus doesn't have influence over his players saying, you shouldn't play? Okay? You shouldn't play. That I don't know, bro. Anything on? Yeah, I haven't heard yet. So I'm not sure if it's Hurts's abilities or the coaching. Hurts has received. We've said all along the consistency is key. Probably both got us here. Yeah, no, agreed. Still, so the Eagles continuously put Carter out there. Hurt then. How many times did you see him going with the wrist and the shoulder? He probably complained to the agent. Dude, Rosenhaus is not going to listen to fucking Howie Roseman. Who do you think's got leverage right now? The Eagles don't have leverage. Carter does. He's the one coming up on the extension or the new contract. You know what the Eagles are going to try to do? Well, you've been playing a little bit below, And so get this. That's why Rosenhaus held him out. Dude, the more you play like this, the more Howie is going to use that against you in negotiations. Why wouldn't you hold out? Think about it. He's not played up to snuff. Why would you play? Hey, by the way, back in the day, when you were like 20, 30 years ago, you were going to play because you were only making $250,000 a year. This guy's going to make $40 million a year. So you don't have to play as long anymore. You don't have to play hurt. My wife says that all the time. These guys don't have to fucking play hurt. You're making $35 million a year? Why would I put my ass on the line? I'm going to get healthy, collect my money, and I don't have to play 15, 20 years anymore. The reason that many players played 20 years back in the day, they were making $250,000. You're making $40 million? You give me one contract, 4 years, $40 million per annually? I don't have to work again. Shit, I could quit after year one. Yes, there is a battle royale. Should have kept Milton and Davis. I'm not trading Jalen Carter. Guys, let's stay in like real world stuff and not Zululand. Trading Carter, benching Hurts. Holy. Hey. Xander, I'll get Xander. We'll read some of the supers because Xander's coming up here in a second. So how many views? Oh God. How many views? So Howard Eskin comes on our program. This guy gets a half 500,000 views. Best quarterback on the football team is Tanner McKee. All right. Without further ado, by the way, Battle Royale will happen at 4:30. Yes, sir, baby. Only in Philly. Hey, you know what Philly is? It's the land of bitching. You guys could win 7 Super Bowls in a row. I told Xander, you guys are like Yankee fans. Jesus Christ, how come we haven't won a title in 20 months? What the fuck's going on around here? Is it part of your DNA to be miserable? Without further ado, the man who's been miserable since the Giants took out the Polak stick and just absolutely beat that across that giant, that Eagle ass. He's been one pissed off dude. He's my friend and he's my boy. That is Big Z. Xander Krause, how you doing, bro?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Jesus, criminy, get the fire hoses.
I know, man. I know. I'll tell you what, we better win this weekend. No, I'm not kidding you. This thing is close. We better win this weekend. Sills, after this, we got 3 games left on the schedule. This is one of the easiest games that we have. After this weekend, we got 3 games left out of 10 against teams who have an under 500 record right now.
Third toughest schedule remaining.
The Bears, the Giants, and the Cowboys. So after this weekend, you have a tough schedule. I know you Giants next week. Then you have the bye week. You're going to have the Lions. You're going to have the Packers. You're going to have the Chargers. You're going to have the Bills, the Commanders. So I fear if they lose this weekend, things are going to get ugly in this city. They got to get this thing on the tracks. And then Jeremy Fowler's coming out with a report today. Somebody in the locker room after the game on Thursday told them it feels like 2023. A player, this team's got to figure it out here because, confidence and momentum are a thing, and this is a talented football team. And, we always talked about how winning was a habit. If you make a habit of losing here early in the year, and confidence wanes and trust wanes and the quarterback or the coach or whoever it is, you do risk having it fall out from under you a little bit, even with how talented you are. So I'm going to call this a must-win game for the Eagles, dude. I think this is a must-win game. I really do.
Over moment, you think that this?
Yeah, obviously it's not going to knock you out of the playoff picture. I get that, but I do think this team has to. Does this team feel like a team that's together, tough, detailed together? Playing for one another, happy, enjoying the games, enjoying the team, enjoying their brother. I don't see that yet. So,
well, do you think this feels more like 23 or 24?
It's yet to be determined. But feelings lie.
Right? How do you feel?
Feelings lie. Let's make that clear.
Like it's closer
before
to
I answer. Feelings lie. It feels to me more like 23, but very different, but more like that where it's going to be a letdown. It doesn't feel like 24. So, but again,
I'm not saying the results are going to be the same, but does the feel closer to being a 23 team than a 24 team? Yeah,
no doubt. It definitely feels closer to 23 to me. Nobody looks happy. They squeaked by 4 games earlier in the year. The offense hasn't looked good in really any game, and certainly has taken certain halves where they look, like a Pop Warner, like the worst team on the Pop Warner schedule. It's been that bad. So they got to correct the ship, man. I think if they correct the ship this week, and then you can get the win over the Giants next week at home, going into the bye week, even if you'll have things to fix, I think at least you'll still have that. All right, we're a top team in the league. We got some things to fix. We know where we're going. We know what our goals are. Let's try and align and get on the right track to those goals. You go into the bye week 4-4, you're going to be tough.
How about this here? Somebody asked a question earlier. about how I would fix it if I was Nick Sirianni. I didn't really think that question that I asked Doug Peterson, I don't know. I thought it was kind of just an interesting question. There are a couple things here. I didn't realize that the Howard Eskin thing, because you said something perfect before the show. That's not a conversation right now, but in 2 weeks, this thing keeps fucking rolling around the way it is. That's going to be a viable conversation about benching the guy and seeing what the guy behind him has. Right now,
for a very specific reason, though. I think people jump to, oh, you hate Jalen Hurts. No, the Eagles are a running team, correct, everybody? We went to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years by running the football. We were a run-dominant team. We can't run the ball right now. It's very simple. We're a run team with a run-based quarterback who can't run the football right now. It's not crazy for someone to say, hey, what would a passer do? So those calls will come if they drop the next 2 games. Whether people freak out in the chat about it or not, doesn't matter. They're coming. I mean, I was listening to a clip today. Somebody sent it in the Discord of Chris Sims and Mike Florio. I mean, they were unloading on the offense. They were like, they can't get the ball. You have A.J. Brown in single coverage, and you're throwing it to Jahan Dotson. I mean, they were like, yeah, A.J. Brown is,
Were they funneling it towards Hurts?
A lot of people are funneling it toward Hurts. Look, it's the nature of the beast. You win, Jalen gets probably more credit than was due. You lose, he's probably getting more blame than is due. But at the end of the day, he does have a skill set. And at the end of the day, the offense is not getting a return. I mean, how are you the number 1 paid offense in football and you're 30th in the NFL and people just like, what do you guys think Jeffrey Lurie think? You think he's just spending more on something than anybody else, and then it performs worse than almost everybody's?
There's no doubt he's talking we are right now. By the way, they asked me what I mean, dude, Doug Peterson knows RPO. Obviously, Kevin Patullo doesn't, and I'm not sure Nick does. I'm just saying
RPO works because it allows Jalen to not have to read defenses. You can make decisions at the line of scrimmage.
But he excels at that.
He does excel at it, but I mean, it is a little bit of a different game than 22. It is. It's a little bit of a different league. The league changes quick. You know that.
Well then, bro, this is what it is. Then you need to figure this out. That this guy's not that guy. Then
I'm aware of what it is. Believe me.
And
I've had a lot of these come to Jesus realizations this week.
Okay, well, this is another one come to Jesus conversation. So everyone's assuming that this is going to be a get-right game. Vikings versus the Eagles. Brian Flores' defense is number 6 in total defense. The Eagles are 30th in total offense. Passing, they're the second best pass. So you mean to tell me they got the second best pass defensive players back there, and the passing game is 29th? Well, that's not a matchup. Here, they're 23rd in run defense. But the problem is the Eagles are 25th. That's a wash. Scoring, they're 5th, Vikings defense. The Eagles are in the middle of the league, 15th. We will get to all your supers. Keep them coming. We appreciate it. Here's the number 1 thing. They're number 2 in the league in third down. The Eagles are 28th in third down. This is a get-right game for a struggling offense?
Well, maybe it's a get-right game for the running game.
Okay.
Landon was back at practice today.
Smart comment.
Quinion was out of practice today. So that should make people feel a little bit better about the corner situation. I don't know if he's going to play. I mean, we'll get the full report, but the fact that he was out there is a positive, So you get Landon back. They don't have a great run defense. That's their one deficiency. Maybe you can get Saquon going this week because, look, I said it at the start of the segment. They're a run team with a run quarterback that has thrived from running the football. Right now, they can't run the ball. So it looks like it looks. 30th in football and pretty damn bad. If they can get the run game going, maybe that changes around, a little bit. But yeah, I mean, look, we need a win. I'll tell you that much. You said it before I came on here. You introduced me as the angry elf. I'm angry this week. I am. I guess it is what happens when the Eagles lose. I don't know what it is, but
No,
I'm angry this week.
lose like that, getting beat up.
Yeah, getting beat up. I mean, by the way, shit, somebody sent it to me. Oh, Jason Kelsey talked about the effort, by the way. Did you see that?
No, what'd he say?
Yeah, someone says Jason Kelsey said it. I didn't hear it, but someone said it to me. Jason Kelsey on his podcast said the toughest thing about watching the Giants game was the difference in effort. So John tells me on the postgame show that I'm crazy for questioning effort, which is fine. He's entitled to do it, and I'm not going to ask John to criticize that. I get it. He's got to be in there with the team. Their effort was awful on Thursday night. It was. You hope that's not a sign of something bigger.
Well, let me say this. That's a reflection on the coach. That's a reflection on preparation.
It's a reflection on that, but it's also a reflection on the player leaders.
Sure, absolutely.
And whether you want to put it on AJ or Jalen, whoever you want to put it on.
No, that's the entire 53.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the entire 53. Speaking of Nick, before I get to Nick. So what about this thing I put out there? And I happen to know these folks very well, and I'm not going to say the name. I've told you already. What about Rosenhaus making the comments about Drew didn't make them to me. I want to make that clear. But word out of that office is that they influenced Jalen Carter not playing last Thursday.
Yeah. That's consistent.
I want to phrase it that way.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's consistent with what I mean. John briefly said that this morning. He didn't say that, but he said Jalen didn't play last week. I saw Drew Rosenhaus there, MetLife turf. I think it was more that than anything. He was more saying it that I think Jalen Carter is going to play this week, but he did drop that little nugget. And then now you're saying you have it on good authority. And obviously I'm well aware of how many people you're connected to. Maybe not everybody in here believes you, but I know who you're connected to. So, yeah, I mean, if that happened, that's not ideal, but it's part of the business, isn't it? I mean, he's going to get a massive contract. And if you're Drew, you're probably like, whether Philly gives it to you or another team gives it to you, that contract's going to be massive. So stay healthy. I don't know. It's an unfortunate beast. But look, Quinion too. I mean, why did Quinion miss the rest of the game last week? Now he's at practice on Wednesday? If you pull a hammy as a corner, you're not playing the next week, 10 days later. It's a 2, 3, 4 week injury, especially for a running position like that.
Ego was so big in that building.
So he goes out. He's got sitting on the sideline the whole game. You know, it is what it is. But now he's back at practice. I mean, somebody said this earlier. The modern NFL game is so, pussified in a way where it used to be.
It's the money.
I get it. There's a lot of other
you don't have to play hurt anymore. Xander, I said this a couple minutes ago. You know why a lot of guys played 15, 20 years? You were making $250,000. Now you're making $40 million a year.
Yeah, right.
I don't have to
one year and you're good. You're set for life.
Right. I don't have to go out there and play with a broken arm or broken fingers any longer. I could sit on the sidelines now, man. It's not pussified. What happened is that these guys just don't have to go out and put their bodies through it anymore.
That's true, but it's also pussified.
Okay. All right. Maybe the money has wimped it down a bit.
Yeah, right.
Well, let me ask you this. If you're sitting there and you're getting a major contract coming up in March and you haven't been playing great.
Yeah, you're not going to put yourself in harm's way.
You're going to put more shitty tape up there for them to go back next year if you're Drew Rosenhaus? Why would I put bad tape if I'm getting drilled in there and I'm not feeling well and I got a bad heel and I got a bad wrist and shit? Why would I do that? I wouldn't do that. I'm not putting bad tape up.
Yeah, I got you. Mr. Hill says hamstring. See, it's funny because Mr. Hill, that's exactly what John said. John said he was either misdiagnosed or he's not playing this weekend. That was literally what John said. And now he's out of practice, and they're saying it was misdiagnosed. That's funny. John was on to something.
Misdiagnosed.
I don't know if that's true. I'm obviously on the show. I'm not on WIP or looking at Twitter or anything. But
what a great way to get out of keeping a guy out of a game. We misdiagnosed it. So you're just going to fucking land on that pod. Wow. Okay. So Nick Sirianni and his process. I mean, dude, so let me hook you up here on Jalen Hurts now. So do you believe that Jalen Hurts is being coached correctly in 25?
Jalen Hurts being coached correctly. I don't think
to
he's
his to his skill set.
Well, it depends. It depends how you look at that. Because some people are of the belief this isn't his. He's capable of more than this. All right, you hear him out with Pam Oliver after the Week 4 win or Week 3 win, and he says, "This is how we have to play. We can't play to lose." And that was a much different style of game in that second half. I think it was the Rams game after Week 3.
It was.
So Jalen's on the field saying that to Pam Oliver, and he sings a very different tune at the press conference when that's Bob Lang in his ear and all those other people. Bob can't coach him up before he speaks to Pam right after the game.
Do you ever? Whoa, let me stop you there for a second. You ever notice that the players, when they say something right after the game, is because they're not coached by Bob? But once the week comes in, it's a whole different mentality. It's because Bob got to him and coached him. The real truth is after the game, not during the week.
Right.
Sorry.
So I mean, look, if you take that perspective, then it would obviously be he's capable of more, and he's not being coached well. Some people are of the belief that this is the only reason this offense is so simplified and so bad, and the play calling is so boring, and the concepts are so trash, and the routes are so uncreative, is because that's what the quarterback likes. So there's two different lines of thinking in this. I think it's a combination of both. I don't think the quarterback likes to throw the ball to the middle. I mean, I was looking at last night. I'm looking at, and people are going to hate this, and whatever, it is what it is. I was looking at the 2020 Colts offense where Sirianni was the offensive coordinator. Now, that was Frank's offense because he was the head coach at the time there. But Sirianni was the coordinator for a couple years there. They're throwing that ball all over the yard. I mean, they got Phillip Rivers in shotgun under center, throwing the ball over the middle of the field, play action. So anybody that thinks Nick Sirianni is just like this inept guy who never ran an offense, never called the play, he's not. He might not be the best, but he's called an offense before. And
bro, he was the OC. He was the quarterback coach, wide receiver coach, and OC when Frank left in San Diego. I was there. Yeah. He had Rivers.
And then you also look at Sills. You look at Kellen Moore is another good example of this, where he throws the ball everywhere before he comes to Philly. Like has three years of the number one passing offense in football. All right, then he comes to Philly. Everybody said the same thing last year. AJ complained about passing. Everybody in the chat, if you go back and go read your own tweets or your own social media posts from this time a year ago, you were ripping on Kellen Moore too. Kellen Moore leaves. Now he's throwing the ball 35 times a game with Spencer Rattler. So Kevin Petula is in here running these crappy routes. People keep sending me these route tree combinations of Devontae Smith versus George Pickens. And I'm like, okay, is it because that's what Jalen likes? I don't know. I mean, I think he's capable of more, but it also looks like there is some level of it where they can't go too far or make it too creative, because they haven't done it. Why else would they not do it? They're the 30th ranked offense in football, and you can't run the ball. If there's ever a time to improve your routes and your throwing game and all those different things, you're going to do it now.
He can't do it. Hey, you mentioned Kellen Moore. We knew the Saints sucked. When did he get that job? After the Super Bowl, like February, right? That week, that second week of February. The second week of February, he goes in there. Spencer Rattler's on pace right now for 3,600 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and 3 picks. Spencer fucking Rattler. And by the way, for the record, to accentuate your point, he's 8th in passing attempts in the league.
Yeah.
This guy's he's not a guy who's going to run the ball. So the point is that Nick and the philosophical thinking of Hurts, they don't believe Hurts can throw the ball high volume. They just don't. I mean, passing coordinator.
I don't think Jalen struggles with throwing. That's not what I think he struggles with. I think he struggles with progression reading.
And that limits the volume.
Yeah. But I'm saying that's why you look at him in the pocket though sometimes, and he's got happy feet and he's dancing and he can't find somebody to throw to 4 or 5 seconds. I mean, are people really of the belief that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are never getting open? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not. I mean, I brought up Kellen Moore. I watched Week 18. I rewatched it the other night because we've had this Tanner McKee talk ever since Howard Eskin made it a thing. I'm watching this tape last night. I watched the full game. They're throwing the ball every play. They came out the first drive with Tanner McKee and threw 3 straight passes all over the field. He got Jahan Dotson, 11 targets, 7 catches, 95 yards. Dallas Goedert played a quarter and a half. He got 5 targets, 5 catches, 55 yards. He had Anais Smith, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Will Shipley had 4 targets out of the backfield.
Spread it around.
He spread the ball around. It was a completely different offense with Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, same play call. I get it. It was week 18 versus the shitty Giants. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying the concept of why are they playing this dumbed down offense? The only logical conclusion
versus the shitty Giants.
What's that?
I saw week 6 versus the shitty
right.
Giants.
Me too. You don't want to bring that up. But I don't know. I mean, why do they have that complex or different looking offense? The only logical explanation.
The only logical thing is they don't believe him.
Right. Or it's the quarterback, or it's the skill set.
Both. They don't believe he can do it.
He's a great playmaking quarterback. He's a clutch quarterback. He deserves a lot of credit for a lot of things. It's not a knock to say you don't thrive as a pocket passer. Right now, when you have an offense who can't run the ball, you need a pocket passer. I'm not saying I want to change. I'm just saying the only way to have a better offense than 30th when you cannot run the ball is to have somebody who can throw the ball every down or consistently each and every week. We don't have that. That's why the offense is so stale.
Let's ask this tough question. Next month, because you're going to have Vikings, Giants, Packers, and the Lions, and a bye. In this next month, will this tell you a little more about what management will be thinking about the kid? If that thing goes undefeated and you put up all those wins, this talk goes away, right?
Undefeated meaning the Eagles keep winning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes away, right? Well. Everything's back on track.
How do what would they have to do in order to win? Like you just said.
What do you mean? To win against the Vikings? They got to run the ball, dude.
You just said if they go on a winning streak. What do they have to do that?
Got to run the ball.
Is it just play better offensively, or is the only way for them to do that to run the football?
Run the ball.
Be able to run the football better.
Run the ball. You got to keep that defense off the field right now until it gets more matured. It's not matured enough.
The defense is a problem.
Okay, but it will be, because if you have 3 and outs, you're going to burn it out.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's an offensive problem. When you have a defense that buckles after 4 3 and outs, that's not a defensive problem, guys. It's not. It's a defensive result. It's an offensive problem.
I'm going to tell you what the Bronco game did one more time for me. I said it again. That fourth quarter is signs of things to come. If they can't stop these 3 and outs, that thing's going to – dude, you may finish 30th in defense by the end of the year like you did in 23. And there will be a collapse because that defense will not be able to hold up because of the inability of Howie Roseman to retool this team. Let me say something about Roseman. Bro, that guy gets Fs across the board right now. The latitude that he got for and rightfully so. But what we're seeing now, the chances of him ever being on Bond and Barkley and Becton and Isaiah and all that is so fucking remotely impossible for him to duplicate that. I'm not saying he's not going to hit on guys again. He is. But to hit at that volume, look what's happened, Xander. You hit at that high volume in 24. You have hit on nothing in 2025 so far. Sure. And what you have right now is a direct opposite of what happened a year ago, free agent-wise, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, 10, 11 Temu signings this year, none of them have worked.
None of them.
None of them have worked.
None of them to the point.
Yeah, Dory looks okay. Dory doesn't look good. Uche hasn't done much. Ojulari could barely dress for 5 weeks. Obo's out for the year. The 2 tight ends they signed are gone already. I mean, everywhere basically. Everywhere basically. It didn't work. So look, Howie overall is a great general manager. There's no doubt about it. But Howie had a really bad year, and sometimes he's prone to do that. We've seen these bad years, and sometimes the bad years are really bad. Now, I do think still the core of the team is good enough Like, I get it. Howie didn't make great moves and the depth isn't there. But again, I'm going to keep going back to this. Even John's getting mad at me in the morning. He's like, we only talk about the offense. I'm like, dude, you got a $200+ million offense and they're ranked 30th in football. Blame the quarterback, blame the coordinator, blame the head coach, blame whoever the fuck you want to blame. I really don't care. I really don't care. This team will not succeed if that offense doesn't have a better output. That's the reality of this football team right now.
Okay. I said this to you when I first came here about certain quarterbacks. I'll say it again. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen can throw you out of trouble. Hurts can't. He's not capable of throwing you out of trouble.
Different styles, yep, different. I mean, they're definitely different calibers.
Those guys carry ball teams.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jalen needs a better team around him, clearly.
And he's never going to be able to throw you out of problems. Like, you have any kind of issue on your offense, any kind of issue, any loss of talent. Dude, I'm watching a guy in fucking Tampa. I can't believe how I just can't believe what I'm watching with Mayfield. Just go and just win ball games with nobodies and seeing guys carry football teams. All right. Well, let me ask you this. One more thing on Roseman here. Okay, so why won't Howie Roseman make a big deal coming up to the November 4th trading deadline, in your opinion? I have a couple views.
I think he might make a deal, but I don't know how big it'll be. I mean, he went through the whole offseason letting everybody walk to be cheap, and now you're going to wait till week 8, week 10, to go expensive. Doesn't make much sense to me. Why not just do that in the offseason, or why not make the signings you need to make to give yourself more competency? So, and by the way, the other thing, we talked about this yesterday, he hasn't really particularly had many good trades this year. I mean, he had one okay trade. He traded back for the guy he let walk in Fred Johnson. Every other trade has been bad. Tank Bigsby, we sent 2 picks for that guy. He can't even catch the kick returns. I mean, he stinks. Ja'Cory Bennett, we traded away our defensive tackle. Boy, it would have been nice to have Thomas Booker last week. That was a terrible trade. He's playing great in Vegas.
He is.
Howie's not particularly on a hot streak right now when it comes to trading for players. So I don't know. Are we going to trade for somebody that's good, or are we going to trade for a Robert Quinn, Kevin Byard type of deal right now at the deadline? I don't know. It's curious. I'm curious to see how they end up doing it. But again, you let everybody go. You let the defensive linemen go. You trade away Thomas Booker. Now you're shopping for defensive linemen, week 6, week 7, week 8 of the year, because you have an injury and by the way, it's a guy you didn't sign till week 2, Za'Darius Smith, who retires in the middle of the year, and you're left scrambling. If you have a defensive line that is screwed because a guy you signed in week 2 retired in week 6, then you never had a good defensive line to begin with.
No,
that's the reality. So, he.
By the way, the Raiders are 10th against the run. They're 10th overall.
Yeah, Raiders are playing good, and so is Thomas Booker.
Yeah.
So
Booker, Sweat, and Williams are all having great years.
Oh man.
Here's my take why.
Every time I come on your show, I get more pissed off.
Hey, good. Hey, listen, do you understand why he really won't make those moves? That means he's got to admit that his evaluation on Hunt wasn't right. By the way, I think he'll be good in 2 years.
Oh, that might have been one of my worst takes of the offseason.
I still think he's a player. I think he's going to be okay.
He is, but he's not this year, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. That means he missed that. Nolan Smith was going to be the guy that was going to take over. Xander, not just you. You know how many people I talked to that thought that guy was in line for a $25 million contract? Because based off of what he did 8 weeks? That's a miss. Not in his evaluation of talent, but you know what it's a miss in? His availability. Because that was always a major – you weren't wrong, dude, in his ability. What the problem with that guy is is his availability. He was wrong on Keeley going, hey, Keeley will step in for.
Oh, Keeley was an ego thing. Drafted him 4th rounder. Oh, he's going to be there. You didn't just let
Isaiah's?
You didn't just let Slay walk. You also let Isaiah Rodgers walk, and now they're doing. Now there's more damage control out from Bob Lang and the PR staff. Everybody, I hope everybody is learning from our program how to read through the bullshit of the Eagles PR machine. Now there's a report because everybody's talking about Isaiah Rodgers. Now there's a report. The Eagles really tried to sign Isaiah Rodgers, and they weren't passive in their offers. Bullshit. He signed 2 years for $15 million. The guy's making $7.5 a year. You couldn't go to $8 or $9 million? Shut up. They let both the corners walk out because they believed in Keeley. Bingo. And then they brought in Adoree Jackson, and he stinks too.
Folks, I want to ask you something, okay?
Morty, that's the point. More people are going to know his name after this show.
Are you ready for this? WIP 97.5 and all these other shows don't talk like we do here at JAKIB. Where the fuck do you think they're getting to put out propaganda where we tried signing him? They're not talking about Isaiah Rodgers
and
on WIP. We are.
They wait till week 7 to say that after Isaiah is the number 1 rated cornerback in football. What a joke. What a joke. Yeah, look, Howie had a bad offseason. That doesn't mean he's a bad GM. It means he's having a bad year, and the Eagles are struggling right now because of it. Everybody's having a bad year. Saquon's having a bad year for whatever reason. The offensive line's having a bad year. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are having bad years. Howie Roseman had a bad year. I mean, is anybody in Eagles land having a good year? Maybe Jahad Campbell's having a good year. Quinyon and Cooper are having good years. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis is having an okay year. Dallas Goedert's having a good year.
Yeah, Dallas is.
But I'm looking at more macro.
Yeah.
Offense is having a bad year. Defense is not having a great year. Special teams is having an inconsistent year. And the front office had an awful year.
What do you think about Jomo?
Good, but man, was I off on him.
Yeah, but he's okay.
That's what I mean. He's okay, but I was saying that he was going to replace Milton Williams. Milton Williams is playing like a damn near all-pro in New England, and that team's 4-2. That team took what makes us great, grabbed a defensive tackle, built their trenches. They got their young quarterback now on a rookie deal. They're in a good spot. I do wonder, man, is it the Super Bowl hangover? That's why I brought it up.
Do you think Milton's a good player now?
I always said Milton was a good player. Don't put that on me.
And you also said he was replaceable.
I did, and that's where I was wrong. And where else I was wrong is I put more stock in the guys next to him allowed him to thrive. And I do think they helped him.
I did too, in the coaching.
I think they helped him, but Milton deserves credit for being a dog and being a beast. All right, with or without Jalen Carter next to him. And I was wrong on that.
Let me do this. Well, let's see. We still got 11 weeks here, Junior. Let's hang in there and see how this thing unfolds. But right now, the start of it.
Let me ask you something real quick. What do you think Vic Fangio is feeling right now? This is a guy, by the way, real quick, let me frame it up for you. This is a guy who said when he was hired here, this is going to be his last stop. This is a guy who got here in year 1, made the number 1 defense in football. If we're being honest, kind of had a chicken scratch.
Yeah.
It's not like he went out and signed a bunch of great players. I mean, he had some good draft picks. Don't get me wrong. Howie's invested a lot of number 1 overall picks in the defense. But Vic got way more out of that defense than anybody expected last year. He gets his ring, delivers well beyond what anybody expected or anybody believed he could do. Then they take a blowtorch to his defense, leave him on an island, and he's the only guy at the press conference taking accountability. I mean, yesterday he's like, I got to be better. I mean, Kevin Patullo's talking in circles. Dude, you got the best offense in football, and it's ranked 30th. Vic Fangio's got the cheapest defense in football, and he's taking all the accountability. I got to be better. I got to put these guys in better positions. I got to make better calls. I mean, if you're Vic, let's just play this out for a little bit. If they don't get the job done this year, if this offense can't get going, I mean, if you're Vic, are you like, either give me some talent or I'm fucking out of here? I don't know. I'm just wondering what he's thinking. I think it's pretty unfair what they did.
Okay, it's funny that you're starting to do something. You're starting to sound like a player.
Uh-oh.
And I like it because you know what you're doing? You're starting to take words and phrasings of what these coordinators are saying now on what a player. Me listening to Vic, you know what I heard? Hey, man, I got to coach better. I got to put these guys in better positions. I got to be better than that. You're covering for the inability of what Howie Roseman put on your football team. So he's covering for Howie right now because he's talking about the lack of talent right now on the team. Anytime you hear a guy do this, Xander, I've got to coach better, and you're getting whooped and rammed by the shitty Giants, there's no fucking coach. You really think coaching's going to matter when you're getting your ass kicked? Hey, son, throw the right hand. No. I mean, you gotta fight your own battles, don't you?
I know. I got you.
You can't fight for them. They got to go out and fight for themselves. It's like your kid comes home from fucking, hey, the bully beat you up again. I can't fight, son. You got to go fucking fight him too. You got to go beat his ass.
Yeah.
That's what, to me, Vic's going, yeah, I got to go. Well, hey, Dad, I wish you could fight the bully, but unfortunately you can't.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the funny part too, I mean, what business, what profession do you outperform every expectation of your job description? Do you deliver the goods beyond comprehension?
I've ever seen.
And then instead of being rewarded for it,
they rip the shit out from under.
They rip it. That's like going to work at a new job. You get a little corner cubby, and they're like, if you deliver, we'll give you the corner office with the glass windows and everything. You get there, you over deliver by 300%, and then they're like, actually, you got to share the cubicle now with the other guy, with Jim Bob.
Yeah, you're in Howie's old broom closet.
They're not treating Vic with the proper respect.
Is this fixable?
Yeah, it's fixable.
Okay, how?
Fixable. They got a lot of talent. I mean, look, it's fixable two ways. You're either going to start running the football and you're going to get back to Eagles football, or Jalen Hurts is going to somehow become a passing quarterback and start throwing the ball around the yard.
The fuck is there?
Now, you do the math on that one.
Is there a fucking genie in Philly?
No, there's no genie. So the offensive line's got to get healthy. Can the offensive line just play better without getting healthier? I think they can.
No way. Who, Brett Tooth?
No, if Landon's back.
Okay, so we've seen Landon at 70%, and he's getting murdered. And that boy you got in the middle there, that Cam Jurgens?
Dude, he's cooked. He is struggling.
He's cooked. You know, he might be better next year. He might be. He might be better next year, but right now, man, he is dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Fix his RPO.
Did you see this stat about Barkley in the end? So, hey, folks, this is what Xander wants. This is what Xander just said about the O-line running the ball better. Here it is. So far, in 2025, Saquon Barkley has been hit behind the line of scrimmage 36% of the time.
That is crazy, dude.
Play better? Okay. How about blocking the guy in front of you? Last year, they weren't touching him for 4 yards. Remember Brian Westbrook came on the program and goes, I'd love to be in that line. You don't touch me for 4 yards? This year, they get, dude, 4 out of every 10 carries, he's fucking getting tackled before he hits the line of scrimmage. It's a direct opposite of a year ago.
That might have been another bad offseason move.
No.
They extended Cam 4 years.
Not really knowing that back, they just assume he beat.
Dude, what do you mean? The guy's anesthesia wore off. He woke up and the fucking deal was in front of him to sign.
Anesthesia woke up. He didn't even sign his release papers before he signed his contract.
Fucking contract was right there waiting for him.
Yeah.
Carmine, if he's hurt, why'd they sign him to a deal this summer?
$20 million a year.
Yeah. Made him one of the highest paid centers in football.
How much of a loss is Becton?
Big loss. He's hurt out there too, though. Another thing last year did a number on all those offensive linemen, especially the interior.
There is no doubt. That's a fact, isn't it? That old line got beat up more than anything because Barkley's like this. Dude, I don't think Barkley's hurt at all.
No, Barkley looks fine to me, but he's just getting hit, as you just pointed out, behind the line of scrimmage every damn play.
36% of the carries, he's getting hit
crazy.
behind the LOS.
That's crazy.
So you're going to run the ball against this team because Minnesota, one of the areas they're not good on is defending the run.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to go regular Brian Flores blitz all day either. I don't. Dude,
whoa. You don't
they're
think
going to blitz them? Don't get me wrong. They're going to blitz. It's Brian Flores. He's going to blitz. But
you're going to see a lot of the Todd Bowles kind of style of defense towards Jalen.
Well, you're going to see blitzing, but you're also going to see those sim pressures in the zone coverage.
Yeah.
That's right now what Hurts is struggling with.
Yeah.
It is. So that's what they're going to do.
I'm going to ask you the toughest one, then we'll do super chats. By the way, please.
The toughest one?
The toughest one's coming. All right, super chats, and please hit the like button here.
We need a W, man. I like being happy on the shows. I like being able to have some ammo to fight back on this guy.
How many games before you bench him?
Jalen Hurts?
Well, not Lane Johnson.
Oh, this asshole. I'm going to tell you this. I already told you once. Howard Eskin's take will be very popular if they lose the next 2 games.
Beautiful take.
And if they lose the next 2 games, everybody's going to be saying that. But if they lose the next 2 and then they come out of the bye and they don't even look like they can compete with the Lions and the Packers and the Bears and the Chargers, at some point the calls will get big. Now I don't think Nick would do it. I don't, and I don't think Jeffrey Lurie would allow him to. That's the biggest thing there. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie would allow him to. So I don't think
you don't think Monday, if they lose that game?
No, I think people will say. I mean, we already have people saying it.
How about this? What if they get their ass kicked like they did by the Giants? Minnesota's got a better roster, dude, than New York.
Dude, if we lose like 37-14 or 37-17.
If you lose by 14 against them.
Come on, Eagles. Get back in the win column here. Please. I told you. Why do you think I started this segment with this is a must-win game? This is a must-win. This is as must-win Week 7 shit as you can find.
Why is it a must-win?
Dude, what do you mean?
Okay.
What do you mean, why is it a must-win? Jeremy Fowler literally reported today, and he reported it after the game on Friday, just nobody picked up on it until now because he put it in his ESPN column today. A player in the locker room, presumably that was an away game, so a player that is on the 53-man roster, apparently told Jeremy Fowler, this feels like 2023.
Okay.
You got that. You got all these different, people calling for what they're calling for. The team looks like they have zero confidence. They're having meetings every week. This is the second straight week I've heard we've had meetings to fix the team. Kevin Petula, we had positive meetings this week. Nick Sirianni, AJ Brown. What's that say?
Said it.
Yeah, I agree.
He's the most vocal.
Yeah, he's not happy. And I can't really blame him. It'd be
He
one
told
thing.
Jeremy Fowler off the record. This feels like 23.
It'd be one thing if you were not the 30th ranked offense and you're like, all right, it's a team game. I have to sacrifice my personal accolades here for what the team is doing. Now we got beat to a pulp on prime time by the New York Giants, who might as well have been the Week 18 Giants last year. That's how bad they were. They were missing neighbors. They were missing all these dudes. Now you're like, all right, now we're compromising. I'll say this. I know people hate that AJ is loud, but at the end of the day, you can't remove the human nature of the game. Like, for example, Calvin Johnson. Did Calvin Johnson ever win a ring?
No.
No, he didn't. Calvin Johnson will be remembered by everybody forever, okay, because he was a dominant receiver who was used and made an impact on the game. Now, I'm not saying that's the right approach. I'm just saying if you're A.J. Brown, you're 28 years old, you have what, 3 seasons left to dominate at the level you're dominating at?
Absolutely.
If that,
absolutely.
You're like, bro, my time is ticking, and I'm open, and we're the 30th ranked offense. What more do we need here?
Oh, my God. This is too good, man. Hey, this is too good. Holy cow.
I was listening to some guy on YouTube last night who grew up in Louisiana. Amite, Louisiana, where that's where Devontae Smith grew up.
Yep.
Now, I can't confirm this to be true, but I'm just going off of what the guy said. I'll tell you what he said. We can make of it what you will. You don't have to believe it if you don't want to believe it and you're sitting out there. I'm not reporting it or saying it's guaranteed true. But he reported Amite is a very small town, one high school in that town. He said all his people who know Devontae Smith's people say he's just as mad as A.J. Brown.
Oh, absolutely. I think he is.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Dude, we got to win this weekend.
Look what
we
I
got to
just
fucking
tweeted.
win. Please.
Look what I just tweeted. Big Sills is reporting that we're hearing that Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown is the player that said it feels like 23.
You're not reporting shit, motherfucker.
Dude, wait. Who else? Who's been the most pissed off? Who said it the most? Who's been saying it every week? You think some obscure guy, some 15, Covey said it? Well, let me guess. Who, Jahan Dotson said it?
Jahan Dotson. Speaking of Jahan Dotson, Tanner McKee had that boy at work last year. 11 targets, 7 catches. 95 yards and a tutty. Come on, man. If we can't run the ball.
Hey, do you think Lane said that?
I think that's possible.
He was pretty pissed after, too.
Yeah, he was. He was.
It's one of those two dudes. Because
they better listen to Lane Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely.
They better listen to Lane Johnson.
They did a year ago. They ran the ball and they ran to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
Let's do these supers before
my lot is out there. He's doing more damage control for the Eagles than I've ever seen.
I know. I saw him do that fireside chat today.
My God.
That thing was stupid too. I thought it was Nick talking.
Yeah, really.
Holy cow.
All right, let's do some super chats. I see the great Mark Holmes in the green room. That's going to be a good one today. I tell you what, we lose one more game. Mark Holmes going to come on here. The tables will turn. It'll be 1v2, and he'll be putting the wood. He'll be taking the 2x4s to you and Philly 500's ass.
Bro.
If we lose one more game, man, especially to Carson Wentz and the Vikings.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you that Carolina team. Remember, we said that we thought that they'd be one of the more improved football teams.
Yeah, they're good.
They're fucking 3-3.
Yeah.
I mean, Ed Canales has turned that bullshit around down there. Hey, Bryce Young's on pace right now.
I hate these comments. Now it's like you're the 30th ranked offense in football. And if you have any objective conversation about why we're the 30th ranked offense in football, now you're a Hurts hater. I know, Roll Philly. That's what I am. The offense fucking stinks. Blame whoever you want to blame. The thing stinks. It stinks. If that makes me a Hurts hater in your eyes, it is what it is. I'm loyal to the Eagles, not a player. The offense fucking stinks right now, dude. It does. That doesn't make me a Hurts hater. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Holy shit. Here's Kyle. What up, Kyle? I'm starting a book club. It's called I'm Always Open. Helen Keller Can't See Me.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, I said that. I don't know who has worse.
Come on, Kyle.
Hey, wait. I said I don't know who could read worse, Helen Keller or Jalen Hurts when it comes to defense.
Kyle, don't do this to me, man. Kyle, come on, man. Oh, shit. Here's B Pump. I mean, it was a vet that said it. How many dudes are left from 2023?
That's great. You're right.
There's still a good amount left.
Who? Jalen Carter ain't barking. Nolan Smith ain't going to say that. Nobody on that defense is going to say
Nobody
it.
on the. I would rule out defense.
Yeah. It's Mulata, Lane.
Mulatto, Landon, Lane, Cam is here.
You think Barkley would say that?
No. Barkley
way.
wasn't here.
You think Jalen would say that?
Barkley wasn't on the 23 team.
Oh, that's right. Would Jalen say that?
No.
AJ or Lane? Devontae wouldn't say that. Jake Elliott. A fucking kicker. He's not a football player, dude.
I can't believe that.
Football players.
I can't believe. Thank you, Curtis. He says Z's not a Hurts hater. You must have only been watching for 2 weeks. Exactly, Curtis.
Either that or he's got a blow up doll of Hurts in his bedroom. Hey, I love the guy.
Wait a second. This thing is hanging
Hey, I love my guy.
This fucking thing. You
Don't tell me you got it.
Fucking offense doesn't get better than 30th. I'm gonna have to put this thing through a paper shredder.
Mark,
offense doesn't get better than 30th.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna have to put this through a paper shredder. That thing's been was on my wall for a year.
Well, wait a minute. From what I heard, just from sources, Mark Holmes, when he lays down in his bed, when he looks at his ceiling, there's a poster of Dak straight up like that. So I'm dead.
No, Dak
is playing great.
Mark has a different metric for success this year. Nobody expected the Cowboys to be good. So you don't have to be, we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. So all Mark has to do is
win 9 games,
continue to perform offensively, which their defense is awful. It's the worst thing I've seen. Holy shit, it's bad. But their offense is incredible, you know.
And
the Eagles don't reach their goal, you know.
That Cowboy team can beat that Eagle team.
Oh, I know that. Brother, we just got beat by the New York Giants without Malik Willis on Thursday Night Football. Anybody can beat this team right now.
Including Sunday.
We got a lot of supers coming in. Here's Christopher. Why can't people criticize Hurts without saying you hate Hurts? He isn't saying because people are pea brains, Christopher. They don't know how to fucking think logically. My Big Marsh says, Xander, ain't no way in hell I would let Dak's meat gobbler Marky come in here and run amok. Not happening. Big Marsh, we're leaving I like to stand on, my boy. All right? Dude, Dak Prescott doesn't even have CeeDee Lamb right now. He's got George Pickens looking like he's prime Devontae Adams. Are you kidding me?
Who else is he throwing to, man? Like, who the fuck else is who's on that Cowboy team?
Meanwhile, we pay $200 million for our offense, and we could barely move the thing.
And you got everybody on the planet complaining right now. Who the fuck do the Cowboys have at depth there with this? So this is who he's throwing to. He's throwing to Jalen Tolbert, George Pickens.
Hey, look at this.
Who's this guy? Ryan Florina?
Look at this. Underdog says, Sylvan Z. Hurts on passes over 10 yards this season. 10 of 28, 4.8 passer rating. Read that again. 4.8 passer rating. 35% completion, 30th in accuracy, and 35% completion rate.
That's brutal.
Yeah, and I'm a Hurts hater for pointing that out. Dude, that's just bad, man. With the best receivers and maybe the best tandem of receivers in football.
Barkley.
Here's Bob. Look, he's got the upside down eagle flag. Anyone defending Hurts play right now must rewatch the Super Bowl every Sunday when they're playing. Get over it. I don't know what that means. Anthony says Cowboys are the 2024 Bengals. They might be. That defense is terrible. All right. That defense is terrible. Hangover. No, Jalen Hurts' belly is full. No longer hungry. How can you trust the preparation when we busy going to Met Galas and photo shoot? I don't care what he does. Just play football.
I heard that Jordan said lose my number.
No. Rico says Howie didn't prioritize the trenches, and it's not working out. 215 Philly. What's up, brother? He has bad footwork, can't process or read anything, has bad mechanics as a quarterback in the pocket. That's way too many flaws for a starting quarterback, period. He struggles when he passes, dude. When he can play off schedule, off script, and run the ball, he's a good quarterback. When you don't have that, though, he struggles.
He's limited. People in Philly are having such a tough time with this conversation. He's a limited quarterback. He's fucking limited. And they hire coordinators that don't fucking fit.
I know. Well, do they not fit, or does the offense is it just as too limited for it to fit anything? Dirty D says, I don't blame the MetLife turf has ended more careers than Lawrence Taylor. It might be true. James said, hey, Zay, you said the league is catching up to the RPO from the 22 season, but their Colts are running the same offense and flourishing. Yeah, but Danny Dimes is a different quarterback.
But they have Jonathan Taylor running the ball, and Jonathan
running
Taylor
at 5-7 a clip right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 7 tutties already.
And
Daniel Jones is balling out, dude. He might be one of the leaders in the MVP race right now.
And when you have a guy that's on pace for 1,700 yards, you can run that RPO.
Here's JD. Best duo on YouTube, the bad boy Pistons of Philly media.
Yeah.
Jacob is king. Thank you, JD. D's Nuz says, it feels like the worry we had after the Tampa game last year. It really is to be determined if this is the 23 team. If we lose Sunday, it'll certainly feel a lot more like 23 than 24. Brother, if we lose Sunday, it's going to feel a lot more worse than that. This city is going to be in collective panic. Don't go outside if you're in the city of Philadelphia. I got my Broad Street tickets right here. Look, their new thing is they ticket you by camera now if you're going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. I'm going to be getting a couple of these next week.
Let me ask you this. Does Philly have more drama than the Cowboys right now?
Philly have more drama?
Yeah.
It's partly made. I mean, look, we are a town that creates drama. It is what it is, but we got a powerful media contingency. We're a pressurized town. We're a pressurized city, and it is what it is. It comes with the territory. Let's get to my boy, Mr. Hill. I think I missed him. Mr. Hill, I'll get to it. Richard Butt says, let's effing go. Xander time, baby. I love it. I'm still waiting for Philly 500 to join in.
That's what we're doing.
Josh says, Wilson was Mr. Unlimited. Jalen is Mr. Limited. Oh, man. Anthony says, and yet this same Eagles team beat Kansas City. No. Oh, yeah, this year. Rams, Bucks, and Cowboys.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true, Anthony.
And then turned around and lost to the Giants.
By the way, they won those games in Liars Month.
That's right.
He says, and Mr. Hill says, would you trade AJ to the Bengals for T. Higgins and make Smitty the number 1? Why would you bring back T. Higgins? Why?
Trade AJ to the
Mr. Hill, answer me this. Get rid of AJ to bring back T. Why? So you get the same problems?
You know where I would trade AJ? Carolina.
For who?
I don't know. Who do they have down there? Anybody. And plus, you know why?
Send him to New England for Milton Williams.
No, hey, you know what
I'm kidding, everybody. For everyone who's, that's not equal value.
No, you know what I want to do? I want to be able to trade AJ so that I can go get a quarterback in next year's draft. How about this? If this guy continues to keep playing the way he is, would you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round next year?
Why? You got Tanner McKee.
Okay. Well, I might need someone else.
Maybe. Here's Jay, last one, and then we'll go to the Battle Royale. Jay says, it's funny. Dallas got a couple key stops in Carolina, and Dak didn't come through. It'll be swept under the rug because of their defense. Stat quarterback. Well, it's fair. He had an opportunity late, Jay, and he didn't capitalize on it. But, I mean, come on. If you're watching those Cowboys games, problem number 1 is far from Dak Prescott right now. It is.
How about this? I'll make this point to you about the Cowboy roster. If I were to put the Cowboy roster in the top 32 and you take Prescott off that team, it's a top 10 shitty roster football team.
Well, they also how many offensive line were they missing? Were they missing a bunch of O-line last week, or was that
They were missing 4.
Mark, do that again. How many O-line were they missing last week,
They were missing 4.
3
O-linemen.
All right, Sills, good stuff. We got everybody riled up.
You all right, man?
We need a win. If we don't get a win, we're in trouble.
All right, let's see what happens here. Boy, this ought to be interesting because, dude, belt the ass on that Giant.
Dude, get me
Do you
off this
agree?
stuff.
Do you
Wait,
agree?
I
Before I
gotta
bring the
agree.
guys in, that Giant team ain't winning more than 7 games. There's no fucking way.
We missed Abe Super. You missed Abe Super.
Okay.
So
all right.
this is looking more like a collective situation. Ego is running through Howie and Sirianni and wanting to choose a quarterback who's never good at throwing the ball, being able to, and winning the Super Bowl. Boosted ego. That's a little bit of hindsight 2020, though, Abe.
Sirianni's a buffoon. All right. Big Z.
Later, dude.
I'll see you, man. So the other day I had Howard Eskin on. Howard Eskin got, and I think all of the platforms, he's got like 500,000 views. When he said, bench hurts. Bench, one of the legendary sports talkers, said bench hurts. He said the best quarterback on the team is Tanner McKee for this offense because the quarterback is limited as a passer. Let's try to dissect all this. Now, the Cowboys, they drop a game to a Carolina team that's now 3-3 on the season. I mean, they've improved. Carolina, how about this? Bryce Young's on pace for 3,800 passing yards and 30 touchdowns. He's gotten better. Under Dave Canales, he's getting better. You know why? They hired a play-calling head football coach that's improving the quarterback. Did you think you were going to turn that shit around in 1 year in Carolina? How about last one before we bring the fellas in? Here's another one. Spencer Rattler. Would anybody in here think he's a good player? Spencer Rattler right now in New Orleans. Mickey Loomis has destroyed that team for 6 fucking years. He was hired in February, right? Kellen Moore? Spencer Rattler's on pace for 3,500 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and 3 picks. And he's on pace for 375 passes. Jalen had 361 last year because they had to run the ball because the guy's limited. Now, all of that said, this is going to be some fireworks here, I believe. Without further ado, Mr. Content himself from the Dallas Cowboys. He is Mark Holmes. And from Philadelphia, PA, baby, the legend, Philly 500 joins us now.
What's up?
So, I mean, how you fellas doing today?
Are you asking me first?
Yeah, we're asking first.
Well, let me say, my team is ass on defense. We got an all-world offense, and unfortunately, we got the best offense in football and by far the worst defense in football. So we are, two-faced, and we suck. But then we were supposed to suck because we traded away our best defensive player. We got all new coaches and stuff. We're the 3rd youngest team in the NFL. We're supposed to stink. How about you guys? How y'all doing over there?
Yeah, some of us care about winning and losing.
I care. Oh, believe me.
I
care.
You sound
I especially
like you care
about the Giants winning against your ass.
We see Mark all season come in miserable every time we do this. Every week he's miserable. Now he's all happy after Dallas just took
Misery
a
loves company,
to Carolina. I'm miserable because I expect more from my team than you do, because my team actually wins games when it matters. Most of the time, we're going through a little stretch right now. I hope to turn it around. But hey, I'm not happy about loss. And if I was the Cowboys and I watched my great quarterback choke when he needed the game-winning drive versus the Carolina Panthers, I wouldn't feel too good either. Just saying.
Let me ask you this. Hold on.
Just saying.
I want to actually answer what Jay was saying about that. And I agree. We didn't get that last drive in there. But we're at the point where we have to score on every single play. So let me ask you this, Philly. When it was 20-17 against the Giants, what did your guy do the next 4 drives?
Didn't do nothing.
Including an interception at the end there.
Yeah,
So,
he didn't
hot
play
meat
good.
kettle.
He
Hot meat kettle,
didn't
okay?
play good. But
I'm old
can
enough to
admit-
remember when
I
you guys would get
can
butthurt when
admit-
somebody said that
I
Jalen
can
Hurts
admit-
isn't the greatest
Okay.
quarterback out there.
Okay.
No, that's not what anybody ever got
Wait,
butthurt on.
Oh my
That's
God.
not true.
Please.
Let me go to Philly first.
See, I can admit my guy didn't play good. He can't admit it. He's got to do videos. This Dak Prescott didn't throw anybody over the bus. I sent you that, Sills. Most ridiculous stuff. He's more worried about Dak Prescott than his actual team.
Are you saying you'd
That's
rather
the
have the
truth.
way your quarterback's playing?
I would rather have my team win than one player look good.
I would too.
That's what I would.
That's not my problems right now.
Let me ask you this then. Okay. So Philly, do you believe that Jalen Hurts is a limited passer in the passing game?
I believe that the offense that they run is going to limit him as a passer in the passing game.
So then you're saying the coach is incompetent?
Yes. The damn coach stinks. That's what I've been saying for years. I believe that his offense stinks.
Okay, because it's either one or the other. The quarterback's incompetent or the coach. So they bring in Kevin Patullo, okay, right?
Yeah.
They brought him in for Nick, not for Jalen. They stopped developing him. Why?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. My conspiracy theory is that Patullo is nothing but a front man for Nick Sirianni to run the offense. And that Nick knew if Patullo could get the job, then he could have the control he wants over that offense.
Why are you paying $51 million in receivers?
Dude, I wish I knew.
And not throwing the ball.
I wish I knew. This is what I yell at the TV every week. I don't know. It's very frustrating. Absolutely.
Can I, as a neutral party
go ahead,
here,
Mark.
from the outside,
you're not a neutral party.
No. I actually am. Okay, because we're going through the same thing that you are with our defense right now. Here's the reality of it. Doc Walker famously said, "It's hard to be hungry when your refrigerator's full." Okay, so that's the first thing. You guys won the Super Bowl.
Walker.
Okay, the second part of it is you guys went into the season still kind of beat up. I don't care what the play calling is. Saquon is now getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, where last year he was getting 4 yards past the line of scrimmage before contact.
Mark, here's that number for you. 36% of the time, Saquon Barkley is getting hit in 2025 behind the LOS, where last year he wasn't getting hit for almost 4 yards. There lies the difference in this team. So go ahead, Ice. I'm sorry about
it. And when you can run the football, generally speaking, you have a lot easier as far as it is passing. It's not just the play caller. That's part of it. But it's also the players that are out on the field, too. It's not the same team.
Of course.
And they're still, so it's collectively. And I can look at it with my defense right now and say, it's easy to say Matt Everfoot sucks, but we've changed, coordinators every single year. The reality is there's no easy fix for our defense. We don't have the players. Whether we have Parsons or not right now, we are so far over.
But Mark, here's the one thing that's different that Philly, and I think a lot of people in Philadelphia are having a tough time coming to this conclusion here. Okay, well, if all of that is true and he can pass, so the organization doesn't hire people to fucking throw the ball or to accentuate the guy, because you know why? They don't believe in the quarterback's ability to throw the ball. Or guess what? They would do it.
I agree. I think the coaches do not believe or do not give him enough room to be able to go out and throw the ball. I don't understand why that if you say, okay, this is a Jalen Hurts weakness that he has in the passing game, why don't you work on it? Why don't you get better at it? It feels like they have stopped developing him. It really does. And I think obviously it's not just one thing, right? There's a bunch of different things happening, and it all comes together to cause all these problems. But I do think that Jalen Hurts, I said this, I think he plays with one hand behind his back oftentimes with these coaches. Now, my question is does Jalen Hurts like to play the playbook that they're running? Does he actually like this? Because if he doesn't like this, and then the receivers don't like it, and the offensive line don't like it, and nobody likes it, then the coaches are not listening to the players. So either Hurts is behind this and loves what they're doing and just thinks they're not executing well, or the coaches are not listening to the players, or, because why else would you keep doing something that nobody wants to do?
Well, Xander played a bite yesterday that said that Jalen Hurts said that the offense is going to look like the way I want it to look. Those were his words.
Yeah, but he also said at one point after, I think it was the Rams game, that they need to be more aggressive. This is what they need to do, like what they did in the second half. So he's saying two different things then.
Okay. Hey, Mark, there's a comment coming out of Dallas. It looks like and Dallas has been kicking the can down the road when it comes to trying to get a defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
That overrated Trey Hendrickson we're talking about. I mean, he makes no impact on the football team. He's 31. I'm not paying that guy $31 million.
Mm-mm.
So to me, maybe something on a lesser type of move. Maybe you're talking about a Chubb or something like that, because between you and Philly, you're in desperate need of, I'm going to get to Philly in a minute when it comes to their edges and who potentially could be playing corner in this Vikings game. But for you, I mean, do you think they're going to make a move before November 4th?
I think that they would. It's going to take them actually winning a couple of games and looking, reasonable. If you beat Washington, maybe you look at that and say we're not that far off because you're now in second place, especially if the Eagles have problems in Minnesota. But in my rationale, we got so many problems in there. One player's not going to make that much of a difference. As much as people, still kill us about Micah Parsons, he's only got 2.5 sacks in the season. Do you really look and say that he's taking that defense to another level? I don't. I really don't. And if he was here, yeah, we'd be a little bit better, but we stunk last year when he was here too.
Yeah, but the Packers are fifth. The Packers are fifth total right now.
Yeah, but do you look at that and say it's because Micah Parsons in there? And
no, they've got players, but I mean, he's in a better situation right now. But listen, I think you're playing better football right now. So, Philly, I'm going to go to you on this one now. So potentially you're rolling into this game against the Vikings with Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson at corner and Jalix Hunt and Azeez Ujulari playing edge. How you feel about that?
No problem. No sweat. No.
That's where we were last week.
Oh man, I definitely don't like what our secondary is right now. I'm not happy with where the defense is specifically. Like, we talk so much about the offense. I do feel like they have the pieces to fix the offense in-house. On the defensive side of the ball, I don't think they do, especially at the edge rusher. So I think it's going to continue to be a problem until we can either get somebody in here, get Q healthy. I also was listening to you guys, coming in, and you were saying that like Q was back at practice or Dickerson was back at practice. I think this is a giant mistake. Why are we rushing these guys back? Part of the problem is they've been hurt all year, like Dickerson. I don't think it helps us to rush these guys back. My biggest fear right now for this team is that they're going to come out and they're going to try to just run the ball, be one-dimensional, and fall right into the same trap of the first 3-4 weeks of the season. And then defense gets tired, they're on the field, and then they give up the big plays to guys like Jefferson. That's what worries me.
Hey, Mark, you got the Commanders this weekend. What you're saying then right now is that game's going to determine the type of equity that Jerry's going to want to give up. Because if they win that game, let's be candid here. There's no dominant team in the NFC right now. There's just not. Not right now. There's just, this thing's wide open. Everybody's sitting where they are. Even that Buck team sitting at 5-1. Bro, they got so many injuries on that team. I'm not buying that thing right now. There's so many injuries on that football team. So you think this Commander game is going to tell a lot on what Jerry's going to do, whether or not he's going to be looking for the April draft or whether he's going to be looking for free agents maybe to try to get themselves in that postseason. And who knows what happens with the war of attrition.
Well, here's the reality: is this is a huge game. The Commanders and the Cowboys are playing for something. If the Commanders win and they go to 4-3, you look a hell of a lot better than you do if you go 3-4. And for us, if we go 2-4-1, you're looking at the point of the season's over. We have the worst schedule, the toughest schedule left in football this year.
Eagles have the third toughest. Yep.
Third. I think Washington has the fourth, and the Giants have the fifth. So it ain't getting better. We can't beat the guys we thought that were going to be slump busters in Chicago and Carolina. So if we can't beat those guys and we can't beat Washington, you pack it in. Now, the Cowboys, if they were to go, but again, you brought up Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb would help if you went out and got somebody like a DeMario Davis. You talk to Kellen Moore and say, hey, we'll make a trade for you. We'll bring in DeMario Davis and put him in the middle of the field and hopefully slowly bring along Overshown. Then you might end up improving a defense enough that you might be able to have some hope. If the Cowboys do somehow go through this gauntlet and make the playoffs, at least you're going to say that they're battle tested. They might actually be better in the playoffs.
How about this? So I'll ask you.
Better than what?
Better than they usually are. Because what we always get is, well, the Cowboys have a cake schedule. They didn't beat anybody. They only win games in the NFC East.
Nah, the ace card will be played in the playoffs. Choking Dak.
All right.
An easy ace card.
Okay.
But again,
as usual,
we're in October here. So, hey,
I know.
Hey, Mark, your boy Dak is on right now. He's going to throw for around 4,600 yards and 40 touchdowns and 9 picks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
he's having an MVP season.
Won't get it. They won't give it to him. And you can't. And how can you give it to him with the team that's going to be?
No,
this is Cincinnati all over again from last year.
Yeah, he's like he's doing in Dallas what Joe Burrow does
amazing
because the football. Well, he doesn't sign players and draft players, Philly.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
No, the defense is. Wait,
any quarterback can actually.
The defense is 30 seconds. How is that on him? That's like saying you're blaming James.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying he's amazing. I mean, the guy does amazing things on field.
No, he's not having a great season.
To me, it's like, okay, yeah, great stats you put up versus Carolina, great. But when the game was on the line, the guy goes 3-0. They didn't punt the whole game.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
Until that 3-0.
What else can he do?
No, I think that counts for something because that's the knock on the guy from.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to back up for a second.
You've got a loaded roster. He has Dick.
Look, bro, we were so bad on defense. Now check this out. When Bryce Young threw past the sticks, he was 8 of 9 for 167 yards and a 153.3 rating. He was perfect every time he threw down the field. And your only takeaway is, well, Dak sucked. Dude.
No, I didn't say Dak sucked.
Young is looking like Joe Montana.
I said what I said was, no, Joe Montana won Super Bowls. Joe Montana won.
Did you look at the defense of Joe Montana?
As good as your guy was for 3.5 quarters, when it mattered the most, he didn't do anything. That's the knock on this guy for his entire career.
And how many quarters did your guys do it this week?
My guy stunk this week. Everybody
how
knows
many times in the second half of games this season has your guy done it?
Don't want.
Mark,
one. Mark, you won 2 more games than your guy.
Hold on, Mark. This guy's won a shitload of football games. I mean,
and you've been shitting on him all season.
he's. How worried are you? I mean, are you concerned at all about the inability of Howie Roseman to replace the players on the football team? And I want to give you a little bit of a rundown here. So, Mark, listen to this. Milton Williams is playing first team All-Pro football. Josh Sweat is one of the top pass rushers in the league. Isaiah Rodgers is one of the top corners in the league right now. Okay?
Yeah.
And all of those guys, if you look at it, Milton Williams, his football team might make the playoffs this year. They're the number 1 team in the AFC East, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Who have you name me one player Howie Roseman has replaced any of one of those guys?
I can't. He has not. He's had a horrible offseason.
Wow.
This is one of the worst off seasons he's had in a long time. And I I can't really not like I can't kill him for it because I bought into it. I told you I thought Nolan Smith and I thought Jalen Hunt, I thought they were going to be ready to take over. I was clearly wrong, 100,000% wrong with those guys, and it's costing us dearly. If he would have just brought maybe one or two of those guys, it'd be a different story. But he didn't. I mean, I just keep thinking about CJ not being there, and then Isaiah Rodgers not being there. If you could just add those two guys to your secondary right now, we'd be talking a lot differently. But he took a chance that the guys that he thought were going to produce haven't so far. They haven't, and it's killing us. It's killing us.
How about this, Mark, for you? Do you believe that this football team here, the Dallas Cowboys, when you guys play them, I believe a little bit later on in the – where are you right now in the schedule here where you play them? You play them on November 23rd.
Yep.
You think this football team could beat that team?
At
home.
I think we got a good chance to. I think we had a lot better chance than we did last year. If the Eagles, you guys are beat up, and it seems like the law of averages is finally catching up with you. It seems like Howie has been so good for so long, and you look at the lack of injuries that you guys have had. All of a sudden, it's kind of swinging back to maybe a little bit worse than usual, and now you're having to deal with that adversity. Right now, as bad as that defense is, I don't know that you're going to win too many games. But the hope on the Cowboys is going to be if you get CeeDee Lamb back, if we get back the other three offensive linemen, that maybe this offense will be.
Can you win 9 or 10 games, you think, with this?
I think you still have a chance. I still think you have a chance to win now. Whether or not you do, I don't know. But it's going to take getting back those other guys healthy and the defense being some remnants of a defense.
Philly, do you think this is fixable for the Eagles?
I think it is fixable. However, that Giant game really bothered me because I felt that game really looked like 2023. That was the first time I saw a team that came out with no effort. I thought they didn't look like they wanted to be on the field. And I got the sense that by halftime they quit, especially defensively. And I didn't see that since 2023. So my big fear isn't that they don't have the talent or they can't right the ship. It's whether the coach still got the locker room. Or is he losing the locker room? Are these guys tuning him out? Are these guys listening? I think this Minnesota game is going to tell us everything we need to know. Because if they come out and they look like they did versus Giants, and I'm not talking about whether win or lose. You can lose a close game, right? But the effort's got to be there. They've got to start to get things right. And I didn't like the whole thing.
You're right. They laid down in the fourth quarter. They did. And they looked like they were checked out. And, you got, their quarterback sitting there diving for extra yards and our guys just standing around looking. They're doing backflips in the end zone. I didn't like the look. And I don't know why that's coming up again 2 years later, except to say that I truly believe that there's something the coaches are doing, and they're not listening to the players. It's my own personal thought because you have AJ Brown comes out and speaks, right? I think he was speaking for multiple people on that team. I don't think he was just speaking for AJ Brown. Then you have the whole thing where, it just seems like when they came out of that Tampa game, I remember the second half, they were up 24-6. And I'm like, why does this team look like dejected? They look like they're down about something. I just think something's off. So to me, I want to see how they respond. We're going to either go the way we did last year, where we right the ship and we go and we're successful, have a great year, or we're going to totally collapse. All right.
I don't think there's in between.
Let me ask you then, do you feel more that it's closer to 23's team? Or do you think that do you feel that it's closer to 24's team?
I still think closer to 2024 because there was only that one game that I saw it. But if I start seeing it in multiple games, then I don't care who they're playing. They're gonna go on a big losing streak. Like if you lose the next two games, you're done. Like you know what I mean? Like you've got
Yeah, because
you've got
then
to
you got
answer the
Green
bell.
Bay. Then you got Green Bay and Detroit after the bye.
Yeah, but it was the effort. It was just the way
You're
they
right.
looked. It's like something you could tell is not right.
You're right.
You know?
It's one thing to lose a ball game. It's another thing to get belt to ass like that and then lay down like that. So, Mark, tell me this: who have you been most impressed with? Not named Dak Prescott on your football team this year so far. I mean, who has stepped up and you went, I'll tell you what, I didn't expect that. Or is there anyone, or is it really just one guy that's kind of carrying the football team?
I'm going to say, of course, George Pickens, because for him, the thing that's actually been working really good with him, with CD Lamb not being there, typically they try and move CD Lamb a lot on the offense, and George Pickens was more stationary. But with CeeDee Lamb being out, they've realized George Pickens moving around keeps his focus, and he is a much better weapon. So I'm actually really, really impressed with him. After everything that you heard about him, that he's a cancer, that he's ready to implode and everything else, he has been great. And I will say, even though it didn't show this past week in the running game, our offensive line was not we weren't good on either side of the trenches last week. But Javonte Williams actually being able to run the football the way he has actually made a difference for the
Couple
team.
last ones here. By the way, Philly 500 playing hurt for us here, man. We appreciate you, homie, doing that.
Oh, I'm fine. No, I'm fine.
So what I'm going to ask
listened.
you to do, I'm going to ask each of you to give your analysis on the opposing teams. Philly, first, I want to hear what you think of the 2025 Dallas Cowboys.
I think they're the most overrated 2-win team I've ever seen in my life. I think that Dak is doing typical things. So I think he's consistently great in September, good in October, but loses when it matters the most. I think the defense stinks, and I think that they're really lucky to have even 2 wins. Should have lost to the Giants. That's 100% sure. So they should have
Should have
one
been the
win.
Eagles.
I'm just telling you. Yes, what I thought about the 25 Cowboys. I think they're overrated. I think they should have 1 win, and I think that it's going to be consistent losing as we go later on in the year. I think they're going to stink the rest of the year.
Now, Mark, your analysis on the Philadelphia Eagles 2025.
Super Bowl hangover, okay, that they came into the season fat and happy, okay. Guys like Jalen Carter aren't performing like they did last year. I'm trying to figure out why what was his problem last week? He just isn't playing.
Well, here's the rumor is that Drew Rosenhaus went to him and said this. It said, listen, because we got a contract coming up, that it might not be in your best interest to put shitty tape on because he hasn't been playing. And by the way, there's a couple teammates of mine that work for Drew Rosenhaus that are in that office who I spoke to. One of the reasons, because I talked to Clint Hurt, who's the defensive line coach. He didn't know until game time that he wasn't playing. He was assuming he was playing. And so just to throw that in there for you. Go ahead, please continue.
Your offensive line is not good right now. And what's happened is everybody thinks that Jalen Hurts is the reincarnation of the greatest quarterbacks combined put together. The reality is the guy needs help, and he's not getting the help, and that's why he's been exposed. I will say you are really 1 loss away from Carson Wentz to the season being blown up and everything hitting the fan. You right the ship this week, maybe you can limp through and get it turned around, but right now, that is a disaster waiting to happen.
Retort, Philly. Anything?
I don't have anything to say about that. I agree. I agree. I mean,
what? Are you kidding?
I agree. No, we haven't been good. We're beat up, obviously, on the offensive line. We haven't played good offensively, right? Now we're in a situation where we've lost only 2 games, but it feels like we've lost 10 games. You know that there's things boiling over in that locker room. You've seen it on the field Thursday. So if they do lose to Minnesota, I think it depends how they lose. But if they come out with a little effort, I do think all hell's going to break loose. I do.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
the demeanor in you, the change you had, you're now saying things like you never say before.
Well, wait,
You're
because
saying, no, hold on.
lost is
He's
different.
saying if we lose. You never say we're going to lose. You always say we're going to take care of this.
Well, no,
There
I mean,
seems to
I
be
think,
doubt
I
in your
think,
mind.
I think they're going to win. But what I don't like is the way they played against the Giants. It felt different. So I want to see how they respond to that. This was a team that was coming off a loss where they blew a lead, and they came out and they looked like they didn't want to play on Thursday versus the Giants. So I want to see, based upon what we saw 2 years ago, I don't want to see them go down that route again. But I think depending upon how they come out is going to show us a lot. Do you remember when we collapsed before? We lose to the Niners, then we lose to Seattle, we lose to Dallas, Seattle, but it was like every week it was getting worse and worse, where it just like they were checking out. They weren't playing. And then it got to the point where you were playing Arizona. You knew they were going to lose before they took the field. You knew they were going to lose the Giants. You knew they were going to lose Tampa. So I think this is an important week to show that they still have fight left and that they can right the ship. And if they lose a game and they play really good and they play tough and they fought, I can live with that and move on. But if they play the way they played against the Giants, I think that there's bigger problems.
Why is it so important? Why is it so important right now for the Eagles to make stories out there that they did everything in their power now to try to bring back Isaiah Rodgers, and you're lining up to play against it? It's almost like they're in like damage control. I mean,
what? I didn't hear that.
There's a report here now that's being reported that the Eagles did attempt to re-sign Isaiah Rodgers and were passive in their offer to the Vikings cornerback. Why is that important for them to get that out now, after the fact, when they're blowing dog at corner?
I guess because they're blowing dog at corner. You want to tell your side story. I guess I don't know. It's the first I've heard of it, but
yeah, it just
good.
popped up right now. So, all right, here it is, the last one, guys. We'll start with you, Mark. Commanders, do you win the ball game? Yes or no? Tell me what you think the score will be.
Well, here's the interesting thing: is it seems like the home teams in the NFC East playing against each other have been winning. So we've got Commanders at home, and Washington. Joe Daniels is having that sophomore slump. I think we got a good chance at that.
Give me a score.
Oh, shit. Let's see. Jalen Daniels, the way everybody else has been playing, he'll get about 35 points. Say 41-35.
Oh, okay. High scoring.
We got no defense.
Right.
We have to score high to win. Okay.
Hey, Philly, I'm going to ask you one extra question. Mark, be listening to this. Howard Eskin came on my program and said the best quarterback on the team right now for this group is Tanner McKee.
Oh,
if
shit.
they lose that ball game on Sunday, the quarterback throws for 90 yards or 105 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I'm not benching anybody. However, the conversation becomes a little bit more of a conversation, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, you already got people talking like it, so I assume that it would. But I mean, it's not something that I would even consider or think about. I don't look. I've listened to Howard Eskin for years and years and years. Let me tell you something. All right, I like the guy, I do, but he always takes, as long as I've listened to him, always takes the front office or coach's side of everything. So it doesn't surprise me in some ways that he would say something like that. And as far as Tanner McKee goes, I like Tanner McKee, but I mean, we've hardly seen him play. How could we possibly know that that's true? So I don't put much stock into it. I just think he's blaming the players again.
Okay. All that being said, Vikings, Eagles, it's in Minneapolis. You tell me what happens and how are you feeling on Monday? What happens in this ball game against Brian Flores' defense?
I think the Eagles are going to come out and play their best game. I think Saquon's going to have a great game. I think it will be. I think it will go back and forth early. I think the Eagles will give up some big plays, some big touchdowns. Probably, I'm assuming Q won't play. I think the Eagles win at the end, though, 28-21.
Wow.
And we right the ship.
Boy, what if Wentz wins that game on Sunday?
It's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly, especially if, like I said, if they play with no effort. If they play like they played against the Giants, it's going to be ugly.
How many yards?
And here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. One thing. I think this coach, you got to watch. He panics. He panics in situations like this. Look what he did with Sean Desai. He fired him. I think it helped blow the whole thing up even worse. Will he panic again? Will he do something again if they lose? That's the question.
That go for 450 on Sunday?
He might have to. Here's a little tidbit that just came across that Carson Wentz will be practicing this week and plans to be available whether or not he starts to play.
Dak will throw for 450, and then he'll throw the game losing interception with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, he'll throw a month's worth. He'll throw a month's worth in one game of your guy.
And then Mark will get up there and go, "It's not Dak's fault. Don't blame Dak. It's not Dak didn't throw anybody under the bus like he's supposed to throw people under the bus."
Mark, I will admit, man, that is your boy.
Listen, what would the Cowboys be without Dak Prescott? Seriously,
a three-win team.
I don't know that they're a 3-win team with him. Okay, let's be real here.
Let's get it tied.
Wait, that's a good question. What are the Eagles without Hurts? They're probably a 10-win team.
Better.
What are they right now? I don't think they've got 4 wins. I think they've probably got 2 wins right now.
You're right.
But listen, the thing with shit, I forgot what I was going to say. There was something about Dak.
Philly reminds me right now of Xander. Xander's been so pissed off since that belt to ass game.
Oh my God!
Thursday, he can get. You know what? Both of these guys are doing this. I agree with both of them on this point, dude. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to get your fucking head kicked in by.
That's what bothers me.
But here's
I
the thing
watched you and Xander post game, man.
Hey,
Xander went off for hours.
Bro, let me tell you this. Listen to this, Mark. They activated 4 practice squad guys from the practice squad, the Giants, and beat the tar knobs off them.
After losing to New Orleans on Sunday.
I mean, Jackson Dart who was that out there? And who's the white guy? Scatabo? The dude was running
Scatabo, yeah.
He scammed the hell out you, Philly.
I'll tell you what, man. You see Zach Bond get trucked in the end zone almost?
Yeah. I mean, I saw a run over Jordan Davis, too. I telling you, man, there's some, times you win or lose a game. It's like, all right, like even that Denver game, you lost. Okay, it sucked, but you blew it. But then there's games like this, then we didn't even show up. Like this coach did not have this team ready to go.
Wait a minute, Philly, we got some help for you. The Eagles have just signed defensive end Tidius Leo and Jaheim Bell to the practice squad.
That's what I've been waiting for. It's all over now. Watch out.
Guys, I will catch you. You are absolutely spectacular as always.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys check out the legendary Philly 500s. Great show. And also Mark, who does a spectacular job with his program and his content covering the Dallas Cowboys. Guys, I appreciate you more than you know. By the way, I even did this for you. I don't know if you're doing it, Philly, on your channel, but since you're doing the show, I liked it and I threw it over to my Facebook as well too. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Bro. All right,
appreciate it,
guys. I appreciate you, man. I'll see you guys soon, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Take
Great
care,
stuff, man. Great stuff with these guys. Philly is pissed off. Philly 500, he's got a little Xander attitude in him right now. See, Mark is just resigned to, you know what he's resigned to? Hey, look, man, if I win 9 games, this is going to be so good a year. And as long as Dak throws for $5,000 and 40 touchdowns, I'm fucking good. You know what? Get this, because the Cowboys, and I agree with him, the Cowboys have done such a horrific job at doing anything defensively on that team. Anything that they do right now will be Band-Aids. Same thing with the Eagles, by the way. If the Eagles sign anybody before November 4th, this is Band-Aid shit. This is not going to be high-end. You think Jerry Jones is really going to give up first and second round picks, knowing full well he'll be hijacked, and he'd rather wait for the offseason? Dude, if Jones wins 9-10 games, that's not worth me going for a first rounder. Now, I will say this. If the Cowboys beat the Commanders on Sunday, I think that changes the dynamic. Because then they'll say, look at the problems going on in Philly. No, I think this might have to happen. For the Cowboys to be a significant player November 4th. The Cowboys win, Eagles lose. Because if that happens, I think Jerry then goes, I might need a corner too. And you might want to go to Cleveland, get the kid Ward. Put him back there. You might look at getting yourself an edge. Get the kid Phillips out of Miami. I know he's injury prone, but you don't have to give it 1 or 2 up for him. You can always use the fact to go to Chris Greer, the GM of the Dolphins, who are on flamethrowers right now. Hey, look, give me the kid Phillips. He's in a 5th-year option right now. I'll give you a 4th and 5th for him. No, whoa, I want a 2nd and 3rd. He's a former first rounder. I'd go, yeah, he's fucking hurt the last 2 years. What do you want me to? I'm not giving you a 1-2 for a guy that's been missing ball games, but he might help. So I think the Cowboys have to win and the Eagles have to lose to the Vikings for them to be a significant player before November 4th. Does that make sense? All right. I appreciate those guys were absolutely sensational. Let's play some Bills here. Our friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number 1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. You know what that is? These guys, without a doubt, they save lives. They defend lives. Number 1 thing they do, man. Thousands of attorneys, coast to coast, making sure that they defend families like yours to get proper results when it comes to insurance companies giving you these claims. I told you about the family in Pennsylvania that was initially offered $650K. They came back and got them nearly $30 million. Or the family down in Florida who was initially offered $300,000. They came back in $15 million later. The settlement was settled because of Morgan & Morgan. If you're ever injured, easiest decision you'll ever make. Okay? Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. Do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Hit the like button. Big Sills here. Appreciate all of you being here. All right. How close is Nick Sirianni to losing his locker room? I think if we're going to have a conversation of Jalen Hurts being benched, we should have the conversation of how close is Nick to losing the locker room? No? Don't you think that's fair? Nick can't get off the hook here. Hurts can't be the only one taking this shit, right? Nick's got to, he's part of this too, right? This just can't land at the quarterback's feet. And personally, I believe the guy who told Jeremy Fowler is the loudest guy in the room, and it's A.J. Brown. He's the one in there going like this. This feels like 23 again. Well, that's an indictment on the coach. Whoever said that, by the way, where is this so-called process that we hear about people inside if they have a problem or anything? Get this. Now you're hearing people bleeding to the media everything that the Philadelphia Eagles don't want you to hear. How about this? Why is it important? Why is it important for the Eagles to put out that they wanted Isaiah Rodgers? This is from them. You think the Minnesota Vikings put that out or Isaiah Rodgers put that out? That is directly from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I even tweeted at Bob Lang. I said this. I did. I tweeted right at him. I went, Bob, really? You're kidding me. This shit is so petty. Bob Lang, ? Why? You got to be kidding me. What's the point of that? Breaking Eagles Science Center, Dixon butts to the practice squad. Why is this so important? Get this. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, obviously, you can't follow along. So sit back in the corner and listen, douchebag. What are we talking about? Okay, explain this to me. Who fucking put that out? That the Eagles made a contract offer to Isaiah Rodgers. The Vikings? Isaiah Rodgers? Who? Wouldn't be his agent. They got $15 million. Who in the fucking world would think that anybody but the Eagles put that out? What do you mean, content? How about reality? What are you talking about, guy? I'm not sure what you're talking about. There you go. Where'd I see that? This is great. Unnecessary drama. You're damn right. You're the defending Super Bowl champions. Carmine, exactly. PR 101. Damage control. Isn't it funny? After the players talk every single Sunday, it's called the Bob Lang Walk. I'm actually going to tweet that. Put that out there like that. Okay? Carter's playing this week. It's funny. Seriously, man. Get this. After every Eagle game, players speak their mind. Speak their mind. And then once the week starts, they go on the Bob Lang Walk of Shame. Walk of shame. Absolutely. After every Eagles game, players speak their mind. Once the week starts, they go on the Bob Lang Walk of Shame. Am I wrong? You know why, Sills? They want to make it seem like they wanted to sign him before he locks up AJ and Devontae this Sunday. I love how Philly 500 will use injuries for not playing good, but if Dallas uses it, he will say injuries are part of the game. Okay? Yeah, I don't get it. And you know what people in Philly are afraid of? They're afraid of the Eagles, which means they're afraid of Bob. I ain't afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody. Bob Lang is probably here now. Only honest place for Eagle talk. Of course he is. Where do you think they're getting this from? IP? Where do you think he's getting this from? Why do you think they put all this out? Hoss, JAKIB is the only place that you get the good and the bad. Would you beat Bob Lang in it? Hey, listen, that's not what this is. I just want to do my job. That's not what this is. I got nothing animosity-wise towards that guy except him calling my boss wanting me fired. Him trying to set up potential lawsuits against the network so I don't have a platform. The Eagles can be sinister, dude. I'm a pacifist now, my friends. Eagles trade for Denzel Ward, bring back CJ. Or how about this one, Forrest? Bring back CJ and move Cooper out wide. How's that? How come you and I could sit here and do that? Why is that so difficult? I don't see comparisons to 23. They look good in some games that season. More like Andy's last year at 12. Starting an ugly 3-1, then ended 4-12. Wow. Andy's last year, this kind of looks like. Well, let me tell you something, my friend. If they lose, and this thing goes on some sort of psychotic losing streak with a $200 million payroll, and a quarterback who can't dig you out of problems, you're going to see really a lot of hardcore decision-making that is going to shock people. Dallas Cowboys have been stuck in purgatory, for 30 years. Their fans are on cruise control with no light at the end of the tunnel. They thrive on other teams' failures and make themselves feel better. The Cowboys, it's a true comment. That is a true comment. Right now, the only thing that the Dallas Cowboys wins at is TV ratings and selling of merchandise and the highest priced tickets in the NFL and going to Jerry's World. It's nothing really anything to do with the football field and rooting for Dak. That's all Dallas has. They have nothing else. Great looking helmets, great looking stadium, owner that, likes to be in the media 2 shows a week. Nothing to do with football. Tanner McKee jerseys are flying off the shelves. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith would be hugging Tanner after every pass and saying, thank God we have a passer. How long before those guys start petitioning for it? Those guys have careers too. Oh my God. So do you buy what Xander said? You think this is a must win? Man, the Eagles haven't been in a must win game in 3 years. Are any of you old enough to remember Kevin Cobb, Ty Detmer, Bobby Hoying? Carmine's giving you the hiss of the shittiest guys on the planet that the Eagles have had under contract. You're only hearing Tanner McKee because your Cinderella Jalen Hurts blows. Oh, my God. This is good. Hey, Cowboy fans are laying it on. What Dallas did by selling Micah was now what do you do with these picks? Correct. What they do with their picks is going to be important. That's why 2026, the Cowboys will be better, I think. Must win, or what will happen? OC gets demoted to the press box next to Fangion, and quarterback gets benched, or Nick gets fired. Damn. Must win? Seals, I think the must win aspect comes from not trusting this group to stop the spiraling. Wow. Bob Lang, Eagles, you are learning how to cover more bad coaching. Okay, Bob Lang, you hear? Learning how to cover more bad coaching. And Howie Roseman decisions. You got to remember something. Xander knows this. So, folks, I'm going to give you a little lesson here on Eagles versus Sileo and JAKIB. I was critical of free agency and draft picks. What came out today? Let me read it to you. Let me read it to you. This is what just came out a couple minutes ago. Reports of the Eagles being passive and attempts to re-sign Isaiah Rodgers were exaggerated. According to reports, the Eagles did attempt to re-sign Rodgers and weren't passive in their offer to the Vikings corner. No one holds the cards closer to the vest than Eagles leadership. Vic Fangio would give us media folk, and there's an article in it called the Eagle Wire here in USA Today. Why is it important to get that story up? Why? Because I was critical of them and their re-signings or their lack thereof and who they brought in. So now it's important because I was right. You think fanboys on WIP and 97.5 weren't talking like us? We told you. John did too. John did too. Get John credit. Shit, John's been hammering the edge for 10 months. John's been John's hammered him too. And that dude's in the building. Which means Howie offered less money to Rodgers than the Vikings. Yeah, senor, because at the end of the day, if you weren't passive, how'd the Vikings get him? Get this story here. Let me read this again, this story. I want to show you how fucking stupid this story is and how it doesn't make sense. Here's the headline. Reports of the Eagles being passive in attempts to re-sign Isaiah Rodgers were exaggerated. That's a made-up Philadelphia Eagles story from the PR department. And get this, if you weren't passive, how'd the Vikings get them? Remember in the offseason, I kept telling you, boy, I'll tell you what, Keely Ringo was such a good player. How come he kept going to Isaiah? He kept going to Isaiah Rodgers. How come he kept putting him in? No one would answer. Like, if he's so fucking good and he's going to replace Slay, you went from Isaiah Rodgers and Darius Slay to what? To Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson. That's such a Howie. Thank you, bro. Can't thank you enough, man. I don't like they dismissed a two-time Super Bowl champ. Lane Johnson is on comment about play calling being predictable. I don't know, man. I mean, dude, where else are they getting this? Where else is the Eagle PR department getting these comments from? Because he knows what's happening here. You guys are growing the show. And it's the only place that, dude, Howard Eskin now comes on weekly. All I do, he goes, hey, anytime you need me now. Angelo comes on every other week. Those are some of the longest voices and biggest voices and presence in Philadelphia sports talk history. You think I put those guys on because they're not going to, what? They're going to sit around and talk like those guys over at IP? Now that they don't have those requirements of the Eagles on them, they're going to speak their fucking minds. These guys are going to talk different than they did on the air. You got a whole different version of Angelo and Howard now that you've never heard before. Because, let me tell you something. If Howard said that on WIP, that you should bench Hurts, he'd be in the PD's office. Also, Howie and the coaches probably told Rodgers he would have to compete for the starting job against Ringo. Rodgers laughed and said, nah, I'll go be an all-pro starting corner for the Vikings. Yeah, it's a great take by Senor. Straight up true. At least he has an opinion. Instead of a prepared statement. Hey, Carmine, I get it. Actually, it was 5 wins. But at least he has an opinion. Okay? Well, you can't have those opinions on those other places. Remember something, dude. Sport. You know who owns WIP now? You can't have opinions on that. Are you crazy? We appreciate you more than you know. Thank you guys for the supers these last couple of days. They mean a lot. Says, I can't believe they pulled anti-Semitism card on you. Oh, yeah. People who do the, I mean, right. Well, Curtis, it's fact. I called him a glorified bookkeeper, and they called my boss and said they called the anti-Semitism for anti-Jewish conversations or whatever, and said that I was being anti-Semitic. That's okay. That's been pulled on me before. It's always been something to try to stop me. And they'll make things up because they're powerful. They made that up. Since when does being a bookworm and calling somebody a glorified CPA have anything to do with anti-Semitism? They did. They called me an anti-Semitic. I'm like, sometimes you have a loss of words. You know, like I told you, you know why they can do that? Because of what happened 13 years ago when I made a poor comment. And I profusely apologized about it because it was a mistake. But because when guys like me make mistakes, and because the way we present the show and the content, I don't get lateral, and I don't get that latitude. I don't get that pass. Because you know why? For whatever reason, we've always been able to connect with folks. That's why we speak our mind. We let you. That's why we don't block people here. I don't block anybody. I just don't. No matter if you're talking shit to me or with me. I don't care. I want you here because you have a right to be an asshole as much as I have a right to be an asshole. But nobody who played or playing on a podcast or TV said bench hurts. But everyone have their opinion. And listen, I didn't say bench hurts. I'm not there. I'm not in that conversation. I never said bench him. I asked the question, when do you have that conversation? You know, it's funny, before Howard brought that up, I did ask you, do you think they'll ever think of benching Hurts? No, so that's wicked crazy. And sometimes you got to call people monkey. You know, I use that comment in a different way. Sign those monkeys. It could be anybody. Sign those guys. That's how I said it. And it didn't come off that way. And I get it. Got to be careful because you know why? We got too many people that have too many asses that are tight, and the sphincter muscle tightens up when you say something dumb. And it was dumb. I admit it. I don't know. Man, Tyner McGee would be killing it right now. The dude has never had a losing season as a starter. You're giving the quarterback way too much credit for that. You mean that roster's never had a losing record? Seals, they bench Carson. It can happen in it will. She goes, what do you think about Bay Area's own Joey Aguilar, quarterback out of Tennessee? Not bad. Pretty good player, pretty good prospect. The quarterback class is going to be pretty good in 2026 in the draft in April. Actually, it's going to be probably one of the best drafts I've seen in the last 26 years. It's going to be one of the best draft picks for edge rushers, wide receivers, offensive line, skilled players. There's going to be a shitload of kids in that draft. He has earned the credit in my eyes because of the champ. Yes. But here, Carmine. So are you willing to do this? Let's go here with Jalen. Are you willing to do this? He has a bad year. Quarterbacks have bad years. And just blow it off and see if he comes back and you're okay with it? Say he has a bad year, they get bounced in the wild card round. And it's not a great season. Throws for about 3,300 yards, 25 touchdowns. If they continue to throw at this rate, his interceptions will pick up, 10, 11. And you just kind of write it off and go like this. Fuck it, man. Let's bring him back because he's been to 2 Super Bowls. And I agree with you, Carmine. He's got equity. You're just not going to turn your back on a guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Even I know that. Nobody in their right mind is going to do that. But I'll tell you this, you'll have a disgruntled locker room because AJ and Devontae, they're players too. They want the ball. I want Jalen to retire an Eagle. Dude is I had the black Rocky Balboa in my eyes, Sills. He's a genuine article. I got it. Now, why when people talk about other teams is the quarterback who did it, but when it's the Eagles, it's the roster, just to downplay him because he's not a very skilled quarterback. He doesn't have a great skill set. That's why. And because most teams aren't loaded because the quarterback has to carry and they don't have a general manager like Howie. If you're under the impression you think that Jalen Hurts is one of the more talented players when it comes to throwing the ball from the pocket, you'd be sadly mistaken. Nobody thinks that guy's when it comes to the skill set, but when it comes to everything he does and bringing all the tools out, being able to run, being able to move the sticks, he's a good football player. God, listen, I get that this is a tough convo, man. I'm not really shitting on him. I'm really not. I think the coaching staff has fucked this up. I think it's another misstep by them. Honestly, I think they've... Yeah. Fishing maniac. I think the coaching staff and the organization has fucked this thing up. Here's where Howie has failed. This is all Howie. Coordinator's bad. The talent they brought in is bad. The scheme and the approach is bad. I'm not really blaming Hurts. Right. No RPO, then right. Dude, Joe Burrow going to a Super Bowl. Hey, what do you think is more impressive? Jalen Hurts going to the Super Bowl with that roster last year, or Joe Burrow going to the Super Bowl with the Bengals? What do you think? Hurts going to the Super Bowl with that roster, AJ, Barkley, Goddard, or Burrow going to the Super Bowl with the 29th ranked defense, the 29th ranked offensive line, and 2 wide receivers in him. How is Hurts more impressive? With the number 1 defense, a 2,000-yard back, how is that more? Look, see, here's a guy right here that is blinded. This guy will try to tell you that Jalen Hurts going to a Super Bowl a year ago, he's more impressive than Joe Burrow going to a Super Bowl with the shittiest roster on the planet. That's not what I asked you, dickhead. With a loaded roster. I asked you a question about Burrow. The Burrow all day, dude. It's like Montana going, hey, Nads, it's like Montana taking that shitty Niner team in his first Super Bowl win and taking that shitty offense to the Super Bowl and winning it. Right? I mean, there was nobody on that team. Get this, that first Super Bowl that Joe Montana won, not one Hall of Famer on the offense, except the quarterback. Have you ever seen anything like that? Not one Hall of Fame player. Nobody in the line, nobody in the backfield, and nobody at wideout. And he won the Super Bowl. Hey, Nad, think about it. Have you ever seen a player win a Super Bowl with not one Hall of Fame player in the offensive side? I mean, no. Joe Montana, that first Super Bowl, he beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl in Detroit. There was nobody on that team that went to the Hall of Fame. Russell Wilson, I think Marshawn Lynch will be a Hall of Famer. I think that wasn't there an offensive lineman on that team that went to the Hall? That's a good comp, though, because I can't think of too many people. Russell Wilson winning that Super Bowl. There wasn't a lot of guys on that team. That's a good take, man. Are we starting to realize that Nick is not the Super Bowl winning coach? Are we starting, listen to this. Are we starting to realize that Nick is not the Super Bowl winning coach? We think he is. Every time the offense gets put back in his hands, it's a disaster. I'll take Montana versus Brady. If everything's equal, 60 minutes, I'll take Joe. That is the problem. Nick is a figurehead, not a coach. It is the people who try to put Jalen on a level with Burrow that makes us look like Jalen haters. It's a great take. You're dead right. Anytime you start comparing Allen and Burrow and these other guys to Hurts, you come off like you're pissing all over the guy. It's not the case. Here, let me put this to you, Wade. Curtis, I could do the same thing. I'll take Jalen's name out. Troy Aikman. Okay? When you try comparing Troy Aikman to Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, some of these other guys, it's laughable. He won 3 Super Bowls. You think Aikman is in that room with those guys? Absolutely not. Troy needs a football team around him. Troy Aikman won 3 of those things. 3 of them. And I would never put Troy Aikman in that conversation. With the Elways of the world? Troy was very accurate. Great. They never really were a passing team ever. They were never a passing team. Get this. You're a freaking idiot. Without Troy, no Super Bowls. It's a fucking lie. Without Emmett, there's no Super Bowl. I think this douchebag forgets that when Emmett held out, that team was 0-2. When they hired Emmett, they went on to win the Super Bowl, and he was the MVP of the NFL that year. Stupid take, douchebag. It's Emmett's team. Amen. Troy Aikman. They don't win a Super Bowl without Aikman. Shit, man. They could have won a Super Bowl with Jason Garrett, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. Who are you kidding? That's right. That offensive line was Emmett's line. By the way, Troy Aikman was 1-15 without Emmett. And killed. Hey, well, I mean, as much as people will say that he's not the best back of all time, as Richie Jackson used to say, just look the numbers up. All right, guys, let me pay some bills here. Number one injury law firm in America is Morgan & Morgan, with over $30 billion recovered. This is what they do, folks. There is no question about it. This is what they do, man. Defending families across the country. If you're ever injured, on the job, at home, anywhere, do me a favor. This will be the easiest decision that you make. It's family run. John Morgan has been on a crusade to defend families like yours. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529 and do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EA
Eagles. Eagles.
Dander, I think I got one more super chat to read before we close it up here. Somebody just sent it here. Been calling for Tanner for 2 years. Time is now. My friend, we always deliver here. And we will see you tomorrow going 2 to 6. Big Joe, Xander, thank you. The only place that has truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.